Good evening, everyone. Oh, Ruby, I didn't know how to change that thumbnail there. That was last week's toxic family versus sacred friendship. Are we able to change that now to friendship part 2? I don't know if I can. I'd have to go back and I'd have to get out. Okay. Well, oh, thank you. Thank you, Ruby. Okay, that was fast. Okay, well, welcome everyone. Joe will be here shortly. And let's see. We want to welcome John Marciano, Fixing My Faith, Rebecca Wise, 587 Maverick, and Jane Spitfire. Hi, Jane. Let's see. Got all of our early birds here. Rebecca Wise and Beverly Harward. Hi, Beverly. Thank you for joining in. And Faded in San Diego 2025. You're probably still at work or on your way home. Nadine, thank you, Nadine, for joining us.
Hello.
Yeah, we don't take it for granted that people are going to show up, and we appreciate when you do.
That's right.
How's the sound? Someone want to let us know how our sound is? Are these turned on?
No.
Okay. Testing.
Mic's on. Green.
Green. Okay, green. Mic's on.
Mic's on. Testing 1 1 1.
Okay. Sound is good. Rebecca says, hi, Fran and Joe.
Hello,
from
Rebecca.
California. Hi, Carrie Kay. Thank you for joining us. Carrie went to the meetup with Jerry and Celeste and
nice
a whole
meetup,
bunch of people. Yeah, we'll
Jerry's
talk about it.
excited
Oh, I did send the picture to Shauna about the meetup. Ruby, I don't know if you've got it there. If not, I can send it to you. Just let me know if you need that. That was the California meetup, when we talk about meetups. Let me see. So, oops, that's TikTok. We don't want TikTok. Discord. Okay. All right, so I got to get that picture. So, just a second, folks, while we get. I forgot to ask Shauna if she put that picture up.
Which one?
It's the one where the group meetup.
Yeah.
Jerry sent it to us, and they said, "Sent it here, Fran." Okay, so you've got it, Ruby. Oh no, send it here. Okay, she doesn't have it. Okay. Oh boy. Well, I know I sent it to Shauna, so let me just go to Shauna's and send it over to Ruby. Okay? And where is it? Oh boy. Oh, I've got it. Okay, so here it is. So I'll copy it. Copy, send it to Ruby. Okay. It looks like we could come. Okay. All right. And go to Discord right here. Okay, Ruby, sending it to you now. So when we talk about the meetups, we can show that meetup there. Okay.
Boy, there's a lot to all that.
Technology.
You and Ruby and Shauna and
Jerry and everybody that went to the meetup.
They'll do a fabulous effort with
it's
this.
amazing. It's amazing what technology can do.
I'll just sit here and be a lump.
No, you're not a lump. You're far from a lump. No, not at all. Okay, well, we want to do the birthdays.
Happy birthday.
Okay, so Ruby's going to pull up the Discord. Discord is really good. ExJWFriends.com is the website. You can find it on Discord. And so when you go to ExJWFriends, this is what you're going to see. So it starts out with ExJW events, chats, live streams, and more. And then you just scroll down. So you see the Discord on the right. And we'll go to the birthdays. If you can make it bigger, Ruby, for these old guys. Okay. And starting with April 1st. Perfect. Okay. So, and I've got some new ones too. So I don't know if David got to put them in. So I'll be checking the calendar. So April 1st, we celebrated Donna Zuck Adley, Bunny Wallace, Mary Parsons, Dehydrated Nurse. Okay, those were on April 1st. April 2nd, John Miller, Wild Wall, and Apostadude. April 3rd, Sylvia Fetcher. April 4th, okay, this one isn't on there yet, but it will be up. April 4th, Kenny Carpenter. And, let's see, April 8th is Corey Mardis, and April 9th, that's today, is Yanira Bacacalo. I think that's how you say it, April 9th. April 10th, Sonny McSweeney. And, okay, April 11th, Debbie's daughter, Tina, will be her birthday tomorrow in Mads Avenue. Okay, that'll be tomorrow. April 12th, Steph woke up. She comes on the channel. Sarah Soar High, we met her at a couple meetups. Ob L. Barton, Jack, who's Johnny's son. Jacob, who's Michelle's son, 32 years old, and Jacob just woke up. He was an elder, and he just woke up.
Whoa.
And Michelle has all of her children out of the cult. So this year, on the 12th, Jacob's going to be celebrating his 32nd birthday for the first time. Isn't that amazing? It just makes me tear up. So we congratulate that family, the whole family. So many people are waking up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. On to April 14th, Martha Irwin and Martin Riley. April 15th, Dana Bell. April 17th, Rebecca Hayes, our Rebecca here. And let's see, Ruby and Rebecca celebrate birthdays on the same day. Isn't that something? And Robin Pittio and Stephanie. On the 18th is Josh and Jake Randall. We were in the same congregation with them. They're twins, and they're both out. Alexis Lambert and Connor Marshman. April 20th, Linda Kiefer, Michelle Martinez on April 20th. April 21st is Tall Cool Woman and Trisha. On the 24th is Espy, that's Michelle's daughter also. She's going to be 16. So she has two birthdays this month, excuse me. On the 25th, Emily Anderson. And April 26th is RJ. He's going to be 47 years old. The 27th is Maria Torres. The 28th is Errol, that we met in Texas. On the 29th is Lisa Conson and Dan and Dave Tortorella, another set of twins. And Dan has been on the program many times. And the 30th is Ashley Campbell. So we wish a happy birthday to all of them.
Happy birthday, Mom.
And Ruby, if you have the birthday song, if you want to play it, that would be great. Please. So one of those. Okay, and anniversaries, again, on ExJW Discord, ExJW Friends. Anniversaries, April 20th is Bob and Nancy Scott. So we wish them a happy anniversary. Oh, I did forget, and I put it on the other calendar. This Saturday, the 12th, is, I have it right here, Mr. CIA's wife. I know he's listening. He's PMO, but Mrs. CIA is still a witness. She's going to be 78, but Mr. CIA has been out for a while, and he's showing so much courage because he's 77 and he was a witness for a long time, for 50 years, and he's PMO, and we all know how hard it is to be PMO. So it's his wife's birthday on the 12th. She's going to be 78, and he wanted us to mention that tonight. So again, happy birthday to Mr. CIA's wife. Happy birthday to all April babies, and happy anniversary to Bob and Nancy Scott on the 20th. Now, if we missed anyone, if you know of any anniversaries, please let us know. We see that King Tony joined us. Welcome. Dallas, Joe and Fran, my birthday is January 18th, 1987. Wow, Dallas, you're young. Holy
87.
smokes,
Wow.
you could be our child. Because
Sorry.
it makes us feel
We're
old.
very sorry, Dallas, for that possibility.
No. Dallas, let's see. So that's on January 18th. Thank you for letting us know. And if we don't know your birthday and you want to let us know, please let us know here. 1987. Wow. Who else is here that we missed? Wild Wall. Hi, Wild Wall.
Hello, Wild and everyone.
Wild Wall had a great birthday. And we hope you can all come on in a little bit. If anyone doesn't know how to come on the program, when you're in the live chat, you go to the top of the live chat and there's Fixing My Faith in yellow.
And blue.
And the blue is HTTPS/ what do they call that?
I don't know.
It's hashtag or slash or whatever. /
//
Yeah. StreamYard. There might be a short term for it. Someone will let us know.
Yeah, forward.
Okay, I think Fran has mine already. Ruby, correct me if I'm wrong. It's on the 17th, right? Next Thursday on the 17th. Oh, wait a minute. My King Tony. Well, who's Ruby on the 17th? It must be a different Ruby. I got to check that out. Okay. All right. Thank you, King Tony. So King Tony is May 4th. Isn't that amazing? And Ruby is May 3rd. The same year or different years, Tony? 5-3. Thank you for letting us know, because I thought Ruby, maybe a different Ruby on the 17th. We'll have to check that. Carrie K. Mine is the 14th of June.
Boy, we're
Thank you,
stacking them
Carrie.
up.
That's what we appreciate, letting us know.
Everybody has a birthday.
Yes.
Everybody.
Carrie K is June 14th. So that's 6/14. I think that's Flag Day, isn't it? Or is that July 14th?
Don't know.
One of those is
Don't
Flag
know.
Day.
Have to check.
Okay, King Tony, I'm 1993 and Ruby is 1995. Okay, so Ruby's 2 years older, but who's counting, right? Tony, let me just get this down. All right, 1993, and Ruby is 95. Yeah, please let us know in the comments. All right, so we've got Carrie. Okay, we've got Ruby.
There's Susan
Tony.
Gillen.
Oh, I didn't see. Where's Susan? Okay,
No.
July 17th. Thank you, Susan. Susan, this is important. Birthdays are important because, number one, well, it's the day you were born, and if you weren't born, you wouldn't be here. And that's pretty special that you're here. And also, when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, we did not celebrate birthdays. We had to act as if it was another day. What do you think of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jackie Jacks is April 2nd. Oh, you already had a birthday, Jackie Jackson. We missed it. It was Wednesday, April 2nd. Thank you for letting us know. Sorry we missed it. But like someone mentioned, they celebrate the whole month for their birthday. Every day. 4/2. Okay. Jackie Jacks, thank you. And let's see, who
Ruby
else?
said you got rubies, right?
Yeah, I got rubies. We got King Tony. Tony confusing poor Fran. Okay, what did I do wrong? May 4th, 1993 is Tony. Yep, that's what I got. And I have Ruby as 5/3/95. And Faded in San Diego says, my first life was in 146 BCE.
Uh-huh.
You remember it, huh? I was taken with my Carthaginian family battling the Romans. All
Wow.
right. That's pretty good.
Oh, nice of you to visit.
And Shaq, we know Shaq's birthday. Is Shaq on? Let's see. Good morning, Jane. It's almost 9 a.m. Sten is in. Sten, are you? You're 9 a.m. Thursday. Are you in Australia, Sten? I think you are, right? Because you're way ahead of us. You're already into Thursday. Who's Groundhog Day? April. Okay, happy birthday, Mrs. CIA from Jane Spitfire. Ruby, I'm 1996. Okay. All right, May 4th. I think we're getting them as they come in. We'll make sure we write them down. If I mess up, let me know. And Carrie K, my kids were 1988, 1990, and 1992. Yeah, that's when we were witnesses. My kids were born 85 and 88. Oh, our last child was born in 85, Rebecca. Okay, what's May 3rd, Ruby? Okay, yep, got your birthday. Okay. All right, any new ones, honey? You see any coming in?
The 20th of April, Steen is saying, don't forget 20th of April.
Oh, that's yours?
If that's Steen's, he said, don't forget the 20th of April.
Where did you see that?
Right here.
Okay, don't forget the 20th of April. What's the 20th of April? Your birthday? Ricky Bobby. Hi, guys. Hi, Ricky. We're just letting folks know when our birthdays are. When's your birthday, Ricky? King Tony. Yes, 4/20. What is 4/20? I know it's Easter. Some are celebrating.
What is 4/20?
Yeah, let us in on the joke, or whatever it is. Who's Shake and Bake? Oh, I want to say Vexed Cortex. I don't know if you just got on, but we said, we mentioned your son's birthday. It's coming up. And Johnny's son is on the 12th, right, Johnny? Johnny is, let me know. That's
National
Vexed
Weed Day.
Cortex. Oh, it's National Weed Day? It's always 4/20 somewhere.
Oh, every day is National Weed Day.
Smoke Time, 4/20. Jackie Jacks, 4/20 and 7/10. 4/20 is slang for pot, marijuana. Mary
No
Jane. Well,
kidding.
Thank you, Wild Wall. We weren't up on that.
That's why 4/20 is slang.
I didn't know that. Well, thank you. Now we learned something.
What's 7/10? Same thing. So what's 7/10?
It's always 4/20 in my house, Ricky Bobby says.
His birthday is 4/20.
Joe Hova's birthday. Who's Joe Hova?
I think they're playing with us.
Okay. He must be into marijuana. Maybe
Oh, man.
maybe he's the king of
There,
marijuana.
that's it.
Oh my goodness. Tony Shake and Bake. We got a Tony Shake and Bake here? Or is it Tony, King Tony? Watch Me
Same?
Tower. Hitler's birthday is 4/20. Really? I think your volume's on. I mean, I don't know if they can hear it, but is Hitler's birthday really 4/20?
I missed it.
I don't know.
Never went to it. Never knew. Never knew.
Never celebrated Hitler's
Never
birthday.
knew.
Oh dear. Okay, so we got the birthdays and the anniversaries. All right, let us know. I'm Ricky Bobby. It's time to shake and bake. Okay, Ricky Bobby.
Bring it, Ricky. Bring it.
And Ruby says, stop playing with my grandparents, in my honest opinion. Thank you, Ruby. But we don't mind. Oh, dear. So also on ExJW, if we go back to the ExJW friends, Ruby, I know we're going all over the place, but we wanted to talk about the meetups. So if you have that picture of the meetup in Burbank, it was at the brewery, and they were all tongue twisters. We just want to show the folks, they had a really good turnout. Shaq or Jerry, let's see if we can make this bigger. Okay, so Jerry is on the left side, with the sweater around his shoulders. No, he's got a vest on. He's got a beard, and with the black shirt, that's Jerry. On the right side is Celeste. Celeste, we all know, Celeste has had cancer for the last coming up year, and she's an amazing person. She's in so much pain, a lot of pain. That's her son, Kale, with his arm around her. And she wanted to make it to the meetup for her children because they've never been to a meetup, but Kale is out. And then her daughter is opposite them. She's in the black and white check.
Red.
Black and red. What did I say?
White.
Black and white. I meant to say red and black. Thank you for listening. Black and red check jacket. It's cameo with her two children, and they just had such a wonderful time. Now, Carrie Kay, I don't know if Carrie's in the picture. Carrie, are you in the picture? I don't see you, but that could be you because I've only seen photos of you. But it was a really good meetup. I think they had people were coming and going, so not everyone is in the picture. Let's see if anyone's mentioning it. Shaq would be the one to talk about it. Anyway, yes, Debbie, we did mention Tina's birthday on April 11th. I know you just joined us. And Rich Q, Hitler's birthday is 4/20. Okay, thanks for verifying that. So anyway, that was the Burbank, California meetup. It was last Saturday, and it turned out really well. What they ended up doing at this meetup, which we've never really done, is they went around and they asked everyone to take about 3 to 5 minutes just to tell a little bit about themselves. And when Celeste was talking about her cancer and everyone was crying. She's a very strong person. And we met Celeste in person when we were out in California. We met her husband, Len, who passed away after that. And we were so glad that we went. If you ever have the opportunity to go to a meetup, if you have to travel a little bit, it costs maybe a little bit of money, but it's worth it. You'll make memories and make friends for life. We're so glad that we met Celeste in person and her husband, Len, because we know that she's not going to be here. We don't know how long, but she's here now. We're so happy. But we're glad that we met her and her husband, Len.
And it was beautiful to hear everyone's stories.
Yeah, everybody.
And it is. Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah.
We draw closer that way.
So thank you for putting that picture up, Ruby. And also we've got some meetups coming up in the future. Ruby wanted us to tell everyone that this coming Tuesday, April 15th on Discord, Elle Reno, who is a life coach. Many of you know Elle, and she and Ruby are going to be doing an interview. Elle is a life coach, and I think people can come on if they want to for free. She will, talk to them. Normally they charge money, but she's doing this for free, the way I understand it. If you want to add anything to that, Ruby, if you're listening, you can please come on and fill us in.
Yes. Hey guys. So
I,
I put up the screen of the event with Elle. This is an exclusive event, virtual event on Discord. So you will have to join the server first, which we will provide a link for that. And then you will hit the event tab. And then you go to Tuesday, April 15th. You'll see El Reno here. Description, where the event will take place, center stage. And she will be on at 7 p.m. Eastern time. She stays on for about 2 hours. We already had our first event on the 5th, and it went really well. We had a little less than maybe 10 people as an audience and joining the stage. I'm kind of like co-hosting with her, but as soon as she gets comfortable, she's going to be doing that on her own. I'm just there to help and just, help behind the scenes like I am tonight. And she agreed to maybe doing an event like this at least once a month exclusively for the XJW community. And I think this is really good for us to take advantage of. These are free services. She's a certified life coach, and she is going to help anybody who would like to, join the stage with her. She can do coaching right there and then with you within the 2 hour session. She's with us on Discord. And if you want a more private session with her, still for free, you can go to her website and book her to have a one on one, coaching services with her. So this is just for the community to get to know her, get comfortable with her. And I also like that she's one of us. She's another ex Jehovah's Witness, so she knows. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was one of my issues. It was like I felt like I couldn't really relate to a therapist or a coach or a counselor because they wouldn't understand me as a XJW. So here, my prayers have been answered, and maybe yours have been too. El Reno, XJW Life Coach, join us on Discord, April 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern. We will be posting the invite link in the chat. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Ruby. Yes, we'll be looking forward to that. We'll see if we can make that Tuesday at 7. Thank you. And also, Carrie said in the picture, she was the one with the hat on. And yes, Celeste was such a joy. Also, the other one that was there was Dell Real Love. She was there, she was present. She said it was so beautiful to hear everyone's stories. So it's nice that we have this live program where we can all meet and talk. But when you're in person, it's 100 times better if you can do that. If you can find a meetup near you, please do. You'll never forget it. Now, Dell Real Love is planning a cruise in October, she said. So if anyone wants to hear about that, just go to Dell Real Love. I think she's got a channel or she's on Discord. Okay, she's talking about that. Sparky Slag. Hey, Sparky.
how you doing, Spur?
Let's see what else. Okay, so thank you, Ruby. We've got a meetup coming up May 18th. That's the one that we are going to be hosting, and it's May 18th at 1 o'clock. It's going to be at the Kiefer's house near the lake. All the information is right there on ExJWFriends, and it's called the ExJW Excellent Chicken Barbecue Meetup. So it's going to be all day long.
Just for information, the lake is Cayuta, Kayuta, Cayuta Lake. And they're not right on the lake, but he's adjacent to it. Has a boat there too. And it's a really neat community of their own big family
Yeah.
that has different dwellings there.
They started out as camps.
Yeah.
Like Joe said, like their family, and then they all built houses. So they lived there year round. It's beautiful. So if you're ever, if you're in the area, in the central New York area, May 18th, 1 o'clock, just let us know if you're coming and what you're bringing. But the main meal is the barbecue chicken, and then we're going to have sides to go along with it. Okay, Carrie Kay said it was her first meetup. It was amazing. I'm so glad you got to go, Carrie. And someday we hope to meet you too. You're out in California.
Hello, Dinah Lost.
Hi, Dinah Lost. Dinah's planning on being at the Amazing Chicken Barbecue ExJW meetup. Dinah and her family. So we're looking forward to seeing them again. Let's see, Dinah Lost. I don't think you missed a few things, but we just went through the birthdays and anniversaries and meetups. The other big meetup coming up is August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and that is Rick Fearon is hosting the Still Alive in 2025. That is going to be near Boston. It's specifically in Tewksbury, Massachusetts, at the Hilton Hotel. He reserved a one large auditorium. It is free. He's calling it Still Alive in 2025 convention. We call it Rick's Big Meetup. Whatever you want. Excellent meetup. Excellent meetup. And there's the information. If you're coming a distance, you're going to have to get a hotel, food. But there's going to be a lot of ExJWs there from all over the world. This is a milestone. This milestone event will be one of the most significant experiences. And if you can't make it, he is going to be taping it. He's going to be live taping it, I think he said.
See, the contrast to what the society tried to do is because of the shunning. Shunning absolutely splits a person off from their community. It isolates them and puts them in a bad situation. No friends, no family. Our goal when we came out was to do everything we could to help them reunite with each other and for all of us to reunite. And that's basically the antidote to what shunning does. And what it does is shows the society that they aren't as powerful as they think they are because of everyone here's ability to reconnect. You're doing it, we're all doing it. And the meetups make it even more powerful. They really do, because they're more visible. We talk more about them, and we get a chance to see that the most nicest relationships that we never had, but that we can ever have now.
Debbie, thanks for popping in. She says she's got to go. Just wanted to say hi. Been in bed all day and very sick for about a week.
Wow.
Y'all have a good week. Love and hugs, Deb.
Take care of yourself, Debbie.
Yes, we hope that you get stronger and stronger. Also in the chat, Faded in San Diego said Jaron is having a meetup in Las Vegas, September 26th and 27th. So we can put that on the Discord. We can put that in the website too. September 26th and 27th in Las Vegas. So we'll get more information about that and let you know if anyone's able to go there. That's probably going to be a big one too. Okay. Well, let's see. Was there anything else we talked about? Oh, just to note that We had talked about surgeries last week. Our brother-in-law David had his surgery last Friday, and the surgery went well. He's healing in a lot of pain. Today, Linda Egan had her surgery, and I think, let me just find out. Debbie was supposed to have surgery or is having surgery. Debbie, if you're still on, just say something about your surgery if you want to. But I think she had to go in for her leg again. It's taken a long time to heal. So, yeah, we're thinking about all of you, giving you all positive energy, positive thoughts. So please, please keep them in mind. We've had some new contacts lately. Very, very interesting. We just want to welcome if Stefan is listening.
Debbie's surgery was canceled.
Oh, okay, Debbie. All
Okay,
right.
Debbie.
I was so
Get
sick.
help.
Yes.
Well, get healthy.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us know, Debbie. We want to welcome some new folks. Stefan from California. Stefan was an elder. He gave the memorial talk, I think it was in 2021, he said, and he was waking up. Can you imagine giving the memorial talk and waking up? How that must feel. His wife is out and 2 children. They're all out, so we're so glad for him. Unfortunately, his mother just passed away. She was a witness, and she had to mention they were taking care of her and also their in-laws.
We love you, Sparky Slag. Y'all do.
Yes, Sparky. Thank you from Sparky Slag. My JW wife is giving me hell right now because I love all of you. I'm a strong man and will come out on the winning side. Much love to you all.
All right. And you and the wife will too.
Yes. Yeah. We love your wife. We met her twice, and she's a beautiful person. We know eventually she will be out. We know that. Because beautiful people don't stay in. Beautiful, loving people do not stay in. So anyway, Stefan came out. We talked with him. He said he has to go back to the Kingdom Hall for the memorial service, but he knows how he's going to handle it. So we keep him in our thoughts. We also, let's see, was there anyone else that we've heard from? On Discord, there were a couple of new people, Amber and Adam. If they're listening, we welcome them. They were on the Discord. On Discord, there's a section for introductions. So if anybody's new, they can go to the introduction section and say hello. So glad to mention that.
Hello,
Oh.
Tracy.
Tracy Harrett. Hi, Fran and Joe. Hi, Tracy. We were also talking with Stephanie Lynn Carson today.
Yeah, Maverick says 3 of us former congregation members have waken up and left the call.
Oh, good.
Fabulous.
That's great, Maverick.
And so many are around the world. We don't know all of them, but they are. They are. We have to keep that in mind.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Great news. What did I just say? Oh, Stephanie Lynn Carson called us today. And if she's listening, her and her husband, we say hello. The investigation is ongoing. And Ruby, I don't know if I didn't send them to you. But anyway, if anyone wants the forms to fill out, if you were abused, if you know someone that was abused, if it was in the paper and you know them, if they were a relative and you didn't know it, but you heard of it, there's a redress form that you can send in. I know Ruby interviewed Stephanie on her program, and it's the WOW organization. Now that's the website. you have, if you go to the website, it's kind of tricky, but there's 2 PDF forms on that World Organization Welfare. The PDFs are there. One is the redress. That means that you do not have to have been abused yourself. But if you know of one, and Joe and I sent one in because we knew of a neighboring congregation. It was in the news. It was in the newspaper. All I did was go to the newspaper and get all the information. This witness sexually abused his 7-year-old granddaughter, and it was in the news. And the only way that it was reported was, thankfully, the daughter-in-law reported it. Okay, there's the, yes, that's the website. If you go to that website, there's 2 PDFs there. You have to scroll through it. One is the redress form, and that, again, that can be anyone in the world. There they are, right there. Thank you so much, Ruby. Yep, the attorney-client intake form, that's one of them. And then the petition for redress. So, yeah, the redress questionnaire, it's just a questionnaire about the abuse that took place. So we copied all the information that we could find on this person. We sent it in. Even though it happened in 2017, he did go to jail for 2 years. He was disfellowshipped for 2 years. But like I said, it would never have been reported by the elders. It was only reported by his daughter-in-law, who is a Jehovah's Witness, and we do give her credit that she put herself out there and reported her father-in-law. This does not have any statutes of limitation, so this could be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. It doesn't matter. They are just, it's a questionnaire. They want to get all the data together. You don't have to put your name on it.
It's very totally confidential.
Yes, totally
No name.
confidential. The other one for the lawyer, that one, they do want you to sign it, and it goes to the lawyer, but again, they will not share that information with anyone. That is, if that's for the United States only. Anyone that was sexually abused in the United States, in the organization, that goes to the lawyer's office. And the addresses are right there. You just download the letter, fill it out. And David, hi David, thank you so much for doing the birthdays for us and the anniversaries and keeping up with it. Thank you so much. If you have any questions about that, you can ask us, you can ask Ruby, and Stephanie will come on the program again when she's feeling up to it. So I've been doing a lot of talking.
You're doing great.
How about you?
I'm not doing great.
You're not doing great.
You're doing great.
Yes, you're doing great. Thank you.
Great.
And thank you for watching the.
Yep.
So the theme is Friendship Part 2. Or Friendship, Friends Part 2.
Yeah. Friendship is.
I'm going to go get something to drink
Okay.
for both of us.
Friendship is such a universal topic because people around the world have some concept of friends. Maybe in other languages it's different. I assume all languages and cultures have some concept of friends. Some kind of a interpersonal relationship that benefits each other or the other person in need. In this country, in this culture, there's the saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed. And in that saying, basically what it means, if someone needs something and you're in a position to be able to render that service and choose to and want to, you're the friend. You are friend. Now, they didn't have to look for you. You were watching and seeing that they needed one. So that's a pretty special situation if you think about it. See, in other words, if they thought they were alone in the world, isolated and totally left out, they found out, oh my goodness, I've got a friend, someone who cares about your welfare, and vice versa. See, you're in that situation for you to care about someone else's welfare, and for them to notice you and care about your welfare. That there's no, how do I want to say this? There aren't too many laws or restrictions on that, aside from the fact that what your heart impels you to do. It's your expression. It's your opportunity to be the person that you are, that you want to be. And it makes us feel glad we're alive. It makes us feel that, oh, I will go on another day with gladness. Whereas before, I don't want to live another day. You know, this stinks.
Mm-hmm.
And then that can change so quickly too. God, life is wonderful
Mm-hmm.
because of friends, because of a friend. And at that point, we learn something. We learn that, you know, I can do this too. It's something I want to reach out to. There's the other concept of friend, of something that, how can I have friends? As if they're possessions. How can I get a friend who I can trust?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, it sounds more like, you know, an acquisition of something, which, you know, may or may not be in the same mind as a friend in need, a friend who needs. So because you don't make someone else's need, you don't. You could look for someone else's need. You could do that. You would say, you know, I need to be a friend. I'm going to keep my eyes open for needs around me, because, well, then I'll feel like my life has purpose. I'll feel that I am a person of worth in my own eyes. I'm not trying to, you know, prove anything to anyone else except maybe to me. I'd like to prove that to me, that I could be worth something to someone else. This is an opportunity for something, for using our life for something. Because if you think about it, someone might say, oh, I see you're alive. What are you alive for? You know, what's the purpose of your life? Can you explain that to me, please? What would you say? You know, someone asked you, so I see you're alive. Why? Not how did you come about, rather, but why do you continue to be alive, and what's the purpose of your being alive? How do you use it? What do you expect to achieve out of being alive? No, I mean, it could be anything. But many have discovered that being a friend is what the world needs. You need it. We need it. They need it.
Yeah, Maverick says a good way to test a friendship is how long they take to reach out to you. I found out when I stopped maintaining the communication. Well, they may not be a true friend.
Yeah. No, I mean, associates are associates. Approved associates, bad associates, business associates, church associates, political associates. But I don't need them. They don't need me. We just associate with each other because of some mutual interest. But we don't need each other. Those aren't friends. Those are associates. And they be good associates, close associates, you know?
Right, yeah.
Ones you enjoy being with, associates. But you say, but I don't need them. Friendship is different. Friendship carries something where there's an emotional, physical, intellectual, spiritual need, because we're built that way, to give it and to receive it. And all we need is people around us. Some people, all they need are pets around them too, because you could be a friend to a pet too. You could be a friend to animals.
Yeah.
Which is a way to understand a little bit what friendship is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annie's waiting patiently.
Annie, hello. I see.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Joe and Fran. How are you tonight?
Good. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah. So, yeah, that video we talked about, I was watching it again. And actually it was more about dating, relationships with dating and masculinity in comparison to women. So I don't know if it had a whole lot to do with friendship really. But
Oh, well, I'm sure it has something to do with it.
we usually
There's not-
become friends along the dating pattern. Along the way to dating and become friends too. But
Okay.
but yeah, it is very interesting. In fact, I was watching it again for the second time.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I was talking about, as you might remember, how society has changed. Men right now are at a great disadvantage.
Yeah,
And I hadn't thought about that until
yeah, yeah.
I read that, or I listened to it, I should say. And yeah, the women's movement, it needed to happen, but it also kind of created some problems of its own. Of course, it kind of went too far.
Huh.
Like it, everything man does goes too far. It becomes unbalanced. It starts out with good intentions, but then it tends to go the other way. So it's created some problems. Partly.
And if I can interject here,
Sure.
what comes to my mind, and I'm sure you're familiar with them, something called the situation comedy with the canned laugh track,
Yeah.
the sitcoms.
Sitcom.
Any insight as to that? Any?
Yeah, they unfortunately oftentimes put men down, made them look stupid.
Yeah.
Or even parents in general were made
Yeah.
stupid by the kids.
Yeah.
So, you find yourself laughing at things. I mean,
Yeah.
you laugh because, well, in my case, if I laugh, it's not because I see what is being portrayed as real. It's meant to be comedy, but nonetheless, it's became so prevalent. That mentality became so prevalent.
Yeah.
That has undermined the family, the role of men, and yeah, I think it did its share of damage.
Well, I mean, it takes millions of dollars to do that. In other words, we can't do it. Let's do a situation comedy and have a laugh track in it. No, I mean, we could try to do it on YouTube, but we can't reach millions of people the way the media has.
Right.
Well, they put millions of dollars into that. Why would they do that?
Well,
Unless
I don't.
they
Nothing
really-
happens by accident.
No, it's no accident at
Right.
all. No, the goal was to reduce and undermine those institutions of,
Yeah.
of family and of the relations between men and women. Who would want to do that? Why would that be done in a healthy society? Who would do that?
Yeah, that's true.
You recall that?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. Yeah, it changed. It changed the way people viewed marriage, the way they viewed parents. Like one of them was the. What was the name of the show we were talking about, Joe?
All in the Family? All in the Family?
All in the Family with Archie Bunker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time before that.
Well, yeah, that's
Father
one of
knows
the
best.
ones where Archie Bunker, they would, put down women. And,
everyone.
and then he would put down, they had racial things in that one. And it was a popular movie. Everybody loved it. You know, he didn't like the son-in-law. And then they put him down. So that was like the breakdown of the family. I don't know, Annie, if you remember any other programs where, because when we were growing up in the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
Father Knows Best. That was a good program. Leave It to Beaver. You know, the parents, it was a nice family, intact family, respect for the mother,
You know,
respect for the
Leave It
father.
to Beaver. No, that was the first one.
Was it?
They yes,
Oh, why?
because they added laugh tracks to things that really weren't funny.
What about the friend, Haskell?
Eddie Haskell.
Eddie Haskell. He
Yeah.
was a troublemaker.
Oh yeah.
And then he played really nice with the parents.
He was two-faced.
He'd suck up to them.
He was absolutely two-faced.
Yeah. So yeah.
And see, all this was
It's all programmed.
made to make you to think that, oh, that's funny, but it's not funny.
No.
It was really low, but
Mhm.
yet they injected that into the society because someone somewhere was interested in reducing and weakening the people in this country.
Then when they started making heroes out of the villains,
Yeah.
the bad people who did bad
Yeah.
things, and you found yourself by design, you found yourself rooting
Yeah.
for the bad person. But
These
you
things
know.
don't happen by accident. They really don't.
Wild Well says, "Do we remember My Three Sons?"
Oh, my
yeah,
goodness,
we remember
yeah.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it was pretty good family program. I mean, that I remember. I mean, I don't remember everything about it.
All
I
these
think
things were like a slippery slope that
Yeah,
they
they were
wanted
all-
people
yeah.
to fall down.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. They played the American people like a violin, and
Mhm.
to where they got them to the point where we are now.
Of course,
Where people
sorry.
no
The
go ahead,
family unit was greatly affected by World War II when women were put into factories to work for the war effort. So that gave women a freedom they weren't used to. And I'm not saying all this is bad, but it did have an impact. Um, uh,
You made
well,
me think the song Annie just inject. How are they going to keep them down on the farm after they seen Perry?
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Just the men. They
Well,
see Paris and it's like, whoa, I like this life. The
Yeah.
heck with the farm. I'm not going.
Right.
Sure. But
So
that had an impact. It gave them their own money.
yeah.
And it did leave perhaps children. I don't know so much. They weren't latchkey kids probably back then, but because
Mhm.
oftentimes you had grandparents living close
Yep.
by or under the same roof, so you had
Yeah.
supervision of the children, and that went away.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ended up with latchkey kids because the women, once they found that kind of freedom, they wanted it. Kind of
Mhm.
hard to keep a woman
That's right.
barefoot and pregnant once, and I'm not approving of that necessarily either, don't get me wrong, but that was the concept of a lot of men. But once women got that freedom, of course, then they could vote and all the different things that women got to do. It's kind of hard because these are not bad things in themselves,
No.
but the disruption of the balance is what happened,
They,
the balance
well,
of the family.
they don't help people to maintain a friendly relationship with each other, pure and simple. They challenge any relationship. They add stress to it. They make it so it's less likely to be friends. Because,
Women became more competitive
oh my goodness,
too.
very much so.
I think there was a comment here from Tracy Harrett. She said, "The Watchtower took our ability to trust friends. We never were safe confiding in them." And I think she hit the nail on the head.
Mm.
A lot of ones that have come out have trust issues.
Yeah.
Making new friends. We talked about this last week. That's why we wanted to have part 2, is because we felt like there was still more discussion needed on it.
Yeah.
I want to thank Ruby for putting all the chats up. Not everyone can see the live chat, so she's putting it up there
Oh, yeah,
on the screen.
Yeah.
So I appreciate.
good.
And Ruby's filling in for my good wife, Shauna. Shauna and Bern are busy this week, so we appreciate all that they do to make this all possible.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ruby.
Carrie Kay said our marriage got better when we left the org. We
Absolutely.
became equal partners, married now 37 years.
Wow.
I felt the same way, Carrie, and Joe and I could actually carry on a conversation, deep conversations, once we were out of the organization.
Yeah. And
So,
again,
so did you want me to read the poem that I have?
Oh,
oh,
yes,
please.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
please.
remember. Yeah,
Yes, thank you for bringing
I
it up.
forgot about that.
I
Now,
do
this,
too.
this
Thank you.
takes a little bit of analyzing because it is a poem,
Uh-huh.
but it's about people and as they move through our lives and the impact, the effect that they have on our lives. Not everyone's going to become who moves through your life is going to become a friend, obviously.
No way. Right.
So it's called The Visible and the In. It says, some people move through your life like the perfume of peonies, heavy and sensual and lingering. Some people move through your life like the sweet, musky scent of cosmos, so delicate if you sniff twice, it's gone. Some people occupy your life like moving men who cart off couches, pianos, and break dishes.
Mhm.
Some people touch you so lightly you're not sure it happened. Others leave you flat with footprints on your chest. Some are like those fall warblers you can't tell from each other, even though you search Peterson's, which is a book on birds. Some come down hard on you like a striking falcon, and the scars remain, and you are forever wary of the sky. We are all waiting rooms at bus stations where hundreds of people have passed through unnoticed, and others have almost burned us down. Others have left us clean and new. Others have just moved in. So there's a lot. It'd be quite a discussion to have on that.
Yeah.
Poem, but
Yeah.
there's a lot there. Yeah, people impact our lives in positive and negative ways.
Mm-hmm.
And some people move through your life and they're gone, and
Mm-hmm.
you have just a slight memory of them even.
And see a lot of those interactions. See, you weren't looking for it. You know they happened to you, and we happen to others. Our actions happen on others too, and we're not looking for them. They happen. They
Right.
happen.
Well,
And those aren't.
I'm sorry.
Mhm. We don't, and we don't necessarily need them. If a friend in need is a friend, and it's like, what did I need this for?
Uh-huh.
I didn't need this, and now I'm bearing the burden of it. That happens. That does
So
happen.
we walk through other people's lives too. We have to consider the impact we make.
Oh yeah.
Are we a sweet person? Do we leave a sweet odor behind, or
Mhm.
do we leave them as if we were a falcon and now they're afraid to allow people into their lives? We have to consider it's two-sided. We have to consider our impact that we make on other people as well as what they do to us.
Absolutely.
We have a video tonight, Annie. We didn't send it to you, but it's a really interesting
And
video.
it's gonna support and tie into what you're saying too, and it's
Okay.
really good.
It's a divorce lawyer. Now you might ask, what does a divorce lawyer expert have to do with making friends? And in this section, he's going to be talking about pets.
So interesting.
But let's try to relate it to people. And in the end, he brings it around. He's being interviewed again by the same fellow that we had on the CEO.
Something
CEO.
Okay.
So it's going to start at the 1:22 mark, and it's only about 10,
The
15
whole
minutes.
interview is tremendous.
Yeah, it's over 2 hours
They got
long.
millions of views.
Yes, it's an excellent video for anyone too. It's called The Divorce Expert. 86% of people who divorce remarry. Why sex is causing divorces. So let's thank you, Ruby, for pulling it up.
I was hired by their spouse, and my job's to kind of take them apart as best I can. Like, I'm a weapon. You know, a divorce lawyer is a weapon, and a weapon in the hands of a good person protects things, and a weapon in the hands of a villain is very harmful. So,
has your work ever made you cry?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think I've cried for a lot of reasons about my work. I've cried from frustration when justice wasn't served, and I felt that I could have done more or different. Out of frustration, I've cried. I think I've cried more often out of beauty. I'm much more welled up by things that are beautiful to me than things that are upsetting to me. Like, I'm astounded by the strength of people sometimes. I'm astounded by the resilience of people.
You think of an example on either end of the spectrum?
Yeah. You know, I had a client, I got him his dog back. You know, there's something about animals that I think is just so, like, it's just so pure how much we love them. Like, they don't care what we make. They don't care if we're impressive or not, or if anybody bought our book, how many views we have or clicks we have. Like, they just love us, you know? Maybe it's because we feed them. Maybe it's because we scratch them the right way, but I want to believe that it's just that they're just so much heart and so much love, you know? And I had this guy who, at the beginning of the case, he just said, look, man, I don't care. Like, I don't care what I have to pay her. I don't care what, get me my dog. Like, just get me my dog. She doesn't really love the dog, but she took the dog because she knows how much I love the dog. So just get me my dog back. Like, I just want my dog back. And he was this older, gruff guy. This is the last guy you would think, you know, would like that the dog would be that important to him. And we fought really hard, and we got him his dog back. And I remember when I came out and I ran down the, like, okay, I got you this, we got you this, we got you this, and the dog, and he started crying, and I started crying like a child, you know, because there was just something so beautiful about, like, that. Yeah, that's what mattered to him, like, that he got his dog back, you know, and I could imagine in my head, like, the reunion between those two, and that was very moving to me.
The impermanence of a relationship with a dog is something that I've heard you talk about before.
Yeah.
And how we can, and sort of the impermanence, the fact that we only have dogs for a short time. I've got a dog as well, and I've had it since it was a puppy, and it now has gray hairs, and it's older, and it doesn't run like it used to. And little Pablo, I'm now realizing that he's in the last season of his life.
Yeah.
And it just makes you want to play with them more and cherish those moments more and be kinder and give them another treat. And
and we're if we're honest, we're always losing everyone all the time. Like, and that's why to love anything is insane, right? Because to love anything is to expose yourself to the inevitability of losing it. And I learned that as a hospice volunteer for many years. And I've learned that as a human being. And I've learned that as a divorce lawyer, that, like, we're all losing everything all the time. Even our child, like, you have a child, that child tomorrow, the child they were the day before is dead. It's gone. They're a new thing every day until all of us are ghosts, until all of us are gone. And so to me, keeping that awareness in your mind is everything. Like you honor that dog by saying, you know what, I took for granted when this was a puppy peeing on everything and running around and eating all my shoes, you know, like I didn't realize, like, there was a limited amount of time. Like, there is a finite number of times you will watch the sunset. You don't know that number, but it exists. You just don't know it yet. There's only so many more summers that you will be here to see. You just don't know the number. It could be 1. It could be 100. It's probably not 100, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, to me, when people say, like, well, how is a divorce lawyer so, like, you know, into love and such a romantic at heart? Like, how could you not be? How could you not be when you're confronted every day with how fragile love is and how transient it is and how powerful it is. It means so much to us. So much of what we do all day is to find love and to be loved and to feel worthy of love. And then we have it and we just kind of forget we have it until it's going away. And then it's too late, or it's gone. And now it's completely too late. Like if you realize, was it Pablo, your dog?
Yeah.
If you realize how amazing Pablo is when Pablo's gone, shame on you. Like you should, when you pick him up and smell him, you know, like that's to me, like that's everything. There's I don't know if you ever read Thich Nhat Hanh's work, the Buddhist monk. So Thich Nhat Hanh was a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. He was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in like the 80s. He wrote some beautiful books. He passed away a few years ago, but he wrote several books. One of them being Peace is a beautiful one. He's written a whole bunch of books, Peace in Every Step. But he, as a Buddhist monk, has this mindfulness exercise. And I've said it to people, I've shared it with people a couple times. They always look at me like I'm insane when I say it. So I'll share it with you because you brought up death.
Okay.
If I bring it up too much in polite conversation, people just think I'm morbid. And then they're like, all right, all this guy does is talk about death and divorce. We got to hang out with like nicer, more fun people. But he has this mindfulness exercise, and it's this. He says, when you hug someone, think about the fact that they're there and you're hugging them. Then close your eyes and they think about that they've died. And this is the last time you're hugging them before you let go of their body and it's taken away. And then remember that they're alive and you're hugging them. Like, how could that not choke you up? Like, how could you not, like, when you hug your dog, you will someday most likely have to put your dog down. Right? You will have to make the very painful, but very responsible and loving decision that the best of this dog's life is over and that there's nothing but pain ahead. I've had to do it several times in my life. It's heartbreaking, but it's the final act of love and service to something that you've had dominion over and taken care of and have the duty of taking care of. And I know every time I've had to do that 3 times and just smelling it and going, oh, that's it. Like, that's it. It's gone now. And the memory of that scent, it'll fade. But like right now, that dog's alive. Pablo's alive. And you can smell him. And you're not letting go of him now. He's there. He's there right now. Like, so how do you not right now just breathe that in every chance you have? Because you don't know how many more times you'll have. And I don't, when people say to me like, well, how can you think so much about death? Or how can you think so much about breaks? Like, how can you not? Haven't you ever lost anything? Have you forgotten what it was like to have it? Like, did you not keep in your mind like how beautiful this was and how it's gone? Like my mother died 8 years ago. And I found an old videotape I didn't even know like existed. And it was, my dad had like gotten a video camera and he'd like shot, you know, all these video, and I could hear my mother's voice. And like hearing it, I went like it, oh my God, like that was her voice. Like I haven't heard it in 8 years. And I heard it again and it was so familiar, you know? And I thought to myself, oh my God, like I'm so glad I got to hear that. But when she was alive, I never thought like, oh my God, she's here. Like I get to hear her voice because someday that'll be gone. Like it'll be gone. The memory of her voice will be gone. It will fade. Like tears in rain, it will just fade. And so to me, like that, if we could just have that presence of mind when it comes to love, like love is not permanently gifted, it is loaned. And the you love, the people, they're loaned to you and you're loaned to them. And if you could just remember every day to treat it like something that's impermanent and that you're losing all the time. Like, because I'll tell you something, I think it's insane to love anything because of the pain that it's going to cause. But oh my God, man, I love that pain because it means I got to feel it. Like I know when I got my dog Kaba, I only got Kaba because Buster died. If he hadn't died, then I never would have had room in my life to get another dog. So in some horrible way, I guess I'm glad that he died. Like, but that's not how it works. How it works is that he died, Buster, and I went, I will never love again. I will never do this to myself again. I will never feel this pain again. It's the worst thing in the world. I will never expose myself to that. And then a friend called me up and said, hey man, we're doing an adoption event with this dog and I just need you to watch him for the night. He's a puppy, he's got mange, he's a little goofy thing, but like, I just need you to watch him for the night. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't have the kids this weekend. Like I'll watch a dog for a night. And then
You fell in love.
brings this stupid dog, this little stupid mange-ridden worms. And he walks into my apartment and he pees immediately on the floor. And I thought, oh shit, I just got a dog. I just got a dog again. I'm doing this again. And that was 13 years ago. And man, I'm so glad. Like, I'm so glad. And he'll sit there, you know, with his little gray face now. And he'll sit there next to me and he'll look at me. He's as crazy about me as I'm about him because he knows I saved him and I know he saved me. And he looks at me and I think to myself, oh, you're going to kill me. Like you're going to kill me when I lose you. And it's going to happen sooner rather than later. I'm not going to have another 13 years. I'm lucky if I have another year. But man, like, I don't know. I'll do it. I'm so glad I did it.
He saved you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he reminded me of a thing I forget, that we all forget, that I have an infinite capacity for love. No matter what I lose. Because we're just losing all of it all the time. But that's not a reason not to love. That's not a reason not to, like, it's so brave to love. And it's only brave because it's scary. Like, if you're not scared, it's not brave. It's only brave because it's terrifying. It's terrifying to know, like, this thing's going to break my heart. Then I'm going to let it. I'm going to let it break my heart because the joy that it's going to give me in the interim, like, I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. And you know, right now, if you say to me, when Kaba passes away, will I ever do it again? I'm like, nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you know what? I'm lying. I'm lying. Like, I'm lying. I'll love again. I know it. I know it. And I think it's the same thing with romantic love. Our hearts get broken. We you know, we fall apart. We break in relationship and we heal in relationship. And we recover from that breaking in relationship. And I think there's something really, really important there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Ruby.
Ruby.
All I can say is wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So much packed into that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the channel is The Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, I've watched
And
several of his.
yeah, and then this is The Divorce Expert, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can watch the whole thing. It's really tremendous. And I know the comment was made, how can a divorce lawyer show love? But I don't know if this is an exception, but he knows a lot of people, sees a lot of people, works with a lot of people.
In their deepest situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he said it's brave to love because you know that you're going to lose that in this case, he's talking about his pet. And with people, we know that we are going to lose them eventually. You know, husband, wife, mother, father, son, daughter.
Reminded me of when I started divorce proceedings, which was the hardest thing well, one of the very hardest things I've ever had to do. And I met with my lawyer, and I knew him. We've actually gone to school together. And after you heard my story, my situation, he said, well, it sounds like this should have happened a long time ago.
Mhm.
And of course it didn't, because I was a witness. But yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the things that he described that spoke to why we do? He said something about what happens to us through relationships. You were going to say something, though.
Yeah, well, like he said, we have an infinite capacity to love, and we really
Uh-huh.
do if we don't
Uh-huh.
close down. You can close down and then you lose track of that. You're not in touch with that anymore. If you close yourself down because we get hurt.
Yeah.
And that's what you feel like doing initially. And I really related. He's talking about his dog and how he got another dog, and I did that with my cat, best cat I ever had, and I had to put her down. I cried for 2 weeks, and I said, I don't have to be so sad. I can go get another one. Because I said I wasn't going to do it again, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So I went and get this little bitty kitten whose eyes said, take me home. And so now she's sitting right here beside me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's Olive.
Olive, yes.
Yeah. Yep, we met Olive.
He said we are injured in relationships and we heal in relationships.
Right. Yeah.
And so if we cut ourselves off from relationships, well, someone would say, well, we won't get hurt. Well, we also won't experience joy.
And what you don't realize, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you're hurting.
Yeah.
I like the way Maverick said, relationship is like weaving strings of fabric together. Some strands will break, but the more we weave love and kindness, then a strong tapestry is woven for life. Wow, that's beautiful, Maverick. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy. Wildwall said, basically, we fall in love, but if we start taking each other for granted, you can just as easily fall out of love. And he talks about that, you know, with all the divorce cases. You start taking the other person for granted. You don't do the things that you used to do when you first met. You know, when you first knew each other, you get those butterflies in your stomach and you can't wait to see the person. But then what happens over time? Is it because, you know, you take the other person for granted? You become someone who maybe is, you know, talks negatively to your partner. You know, what is it? Or a friend. We could take our friends for granted.
Yeah, there's an old saying, familiarity breeds contempt. And because you become more familiar with a person, you see all their flaws and the things that really irritate you and so on. And I still do, but when I was married, till I couldn't do it anymore, I used to have a yes but theory. And that was when I was upset, I would go, yes,
Mhm.
but I'm so angry over this, but I really appreciate this and this and this. But in my case, eventually there were no yes buts to recall. So there's definitely a time when divorce needs to take place, but I think a lot of marriages could be saved if people were willing, both parties were willing to work at it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then obviously that's a decision.
Yeah.
That's a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing, he brought this out. This is so interesting. It wasn't in this portion of the video. He said, if someone asked you, what problem
Mm.
does marriage solve?
Mm.
And he said, you're not going to be able to answer it. Because it probably makes more problems than it solves.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking that.
And you know, so what? Well, what's the point? Because, well, you could say, I mean, a witness, one of Jehovah's Witnesses, should say, well, it's the only opportunity I'll have to express myself sexually,
No.
according to their beliefs. Well, obviously, you don't have to be married to express your sexual desires. Simply, no one needs to be married for that. Now, they just say, well, you should be. Well, that's their shoulds. Okay. So, in reality, though, no, it doesn't solve that problem. It's not a problem solver. It's not. It's more of an opportunity. It's an opportunity that people choose to take.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not mandatory. It's like, well, you mean I have to get married if I want to spend my life with this person? No, you don't have to. You don't. There's no laws about you must get married if you want to spend your life with this person. No. It's a cultural activity. It's a cultural phenomenon for whatever reason. And I'm not going to say there's no benefits to it. I'm not going to say that. But the question becomes, the point was, does it really solve problems? Or does it make more problems if you don't approach it properly? It's like anything. Or like a person says, I'm going to learn skydiving. Oh, well, what's that going to prove? Well, I'm going to do a lot of airplane flying and acrobatic and whatever and whatever and whatever. And I'm going to need a means to, to survive in case the airplane fails. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But no, I'm just going to be a professional parachutist for money. Oh, because I've got to earn an income, so I'll be a professional parachutist. Okay, well, that could cause some serious problems rather than solve them. But yet, on the other hand, you could become, really well-known parachutist that gains fame and fortune. But it may not work out that way, too, because it's so dangerous and risky. And same with marriage. It's like, when he's a person that has seen that. In fact, he didn't get into it, but he himself was apparently not. He was married, but presently not. So he must have been divorced. No judgment here. We're not judging anything. The point is, if we said, I'm only going to do things that carry no risk, I only want to get involved with totally trustworthy situations. I want to protect myself from anything where I might suffer loss or harm or risk. Well, you won't enjoy anything. And think how quickly we get back to something, even if we suffered from it. Look what a kid does. A kid learns how to walk from crawling. They get up and they fall flat on their knees or face. Well, they cry a little bit, but then they get back up again. And they do it over and over again because they want to walk. And in order to do that, you're going to suffer some falls. And it's just the way it is with life. And anytime we're in a position to restrict that, overly restricted, like Watchtower did. See, Watchtower overly restricted our normal human behavior. Then we cheat ourselves. We allow ourselves to be cheated. Like not having birthday parties, not accepting blood transfusions if I'm injured. Like not a lot of things. Not having friends outside the Kingdom Hall. Because all those things are risky or restricted. And so we want to keep ourselves safe. Well, it's not safe. You're cheating yourself. You taught yourself, you accepted to learn how to cheat yourself. And now it feels a little strange to free yourself into new behavior, like having friends, extending yourself as a friend. Ruby.
Hey guys.
Hi, Ruby.
Hey Annie. So I love that you did a part 2 to the friendship. I was talking with my cousin. I said, I think we could start a whole podcast about this with the amount of information that we can talk about, right? So I have about 30 minutes to kill, and I'm gonna kill it here. So I agree with Joe about our upbringing and how the Watchtower played a huge element into our upbringing as, born-ins, right? Everything was, filtered. We saw the world through their lenses, not our own. And then on top of that, depending on what type of parents you had, if it was on the strict side or if it was more lenient, that you could have friends, you can hang out with worldly people. It didn't, matter. But for somebody like my mom, it was absolutely not. So I do take that into consideration. I don't beat myself over it too much. I just know that now as an adult, we can make the change we want to see. So now if we want to make friends, worldly people, quote unquote worldly people, it's okay now. Like I'm open to that, right? We discussed this last week. But there's two things that I wanted to bring up. The first one was how we viewed the world, right? So for example, when I was going to school, my mom would tell me, those are your classmates. Those are not your friends. That's your teacher. She or he is not your friend. When you go to work, your coworkers are not your friends. They're your coworkers. Your boss is not your friend. That's your boss. You know what I'm saying? So we categorize people in our life as you go along. So I think that was like another issue for me, is that everybody was put in a category in my brain. You're either a classmate, a coworker, a peer, somebody that I preached to. You were my teacher. You were my boss. You were something other than a personal, close friend that didn't really exist for me.
No.
So that was one point.
Oh, if I can interrupt, Ruby, sorry, excuse me, but Nancy said, Ruby, oh my God, I did the same thing to my kids. We did this. It was a cult teaching. It was a cult tactic to keep us separate from the world. But go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Okay, so that was I agree with you guys. And this is why I don't hold it against us anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm just pointing out how we kind of grew up, right? And then the second point was in my opinion, how now we are just guarded 100% of the time. We guard ourselves, we protect ourselves because we know that if our own flesh and blood can throw us away, how much more would we protect ourselves with people that we just met? That's always been my position. And and just when we do meet people, I don't know if it's just a me type of thing, you know, let me know in the comments, guys. But it boggles me when somebody crosses those boundaries, or they see themselves as more of something and you don't. So, like, for example, when El Reno joined the Discord thing, we kind of brought this up as a mock coaching. I said, all right, El, I'm gonna tell you my problem about friendship. And she was like, you know, what do you mean? I consider you a friend. And I was like, you see, that's exactly what I'm talking about, El. And we spoke about this last week. Is the internet culture that people may attach themselves, or they may see themselves as, oh yeah, I know so and so, we're friends, but we never even met in person. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to like bring that back, because I think it's really hard for us with the way we grew up, and now as adults we're just guarded.
Yep.
That's a point of view. That's a point of view that you picked up, Ruby, because you were
Trained.
trained with it.
Yeah. We appreciate you being honest
Yeah.
and open about it. We really do. Were you going to say something, Annie?
Yeah, I think this friendship thing is a modern day internet technology thing that you're a part of, because I think the term friend is very shallow a lot of times in the way it's used. And so I think it offends you because you're deeper. And so when someone on a very casual level speaks of you as being a friend, maybe I would imagine that friendship to you would have to be something far deeper than what the internet projects to people.
If I can support that, I'm recalling where you would get a friend request.
Mm-hmm. On
Right.
Would you
Facebook.
friend me? Hey, would you friend me?
Yeah.
And you know, so
You
what
don't
does that
even
mean?
you don't even know the person.
Well, they've reduced friends just to being a check on a digital check on a site, just based on your willingness. Well, okay, they took the liberty in using that statement of friend. So what does that do? I mean, does that reduce friendship? Well, not really. It's just that they're misusing it. It's being misused.
Right.
It's being. It's we have to be careful not to be trained by it. And that's going to happen all over the place, where someone's going to do the magic on you. That's magic. See, that's magic that's being performed on people by making them think that, oh yeah, you can be friends now that we have the internet. Everybody can be friends. And in the background, maybe they're learning how to scam you because you chose to be their friend. How's that? How's that for choosing to be a friend? See, well, okay, that's the nefarious side of it. It really is. You have to be careful. Does that mean, oh, I don't, man, I'm never, no, I'm through with friends. No, you're not going to be through with friends. What you're going to do is say, I'm going to be
Cautious.
a friend
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that I know I need to be
Right.
where it's needed. I'm not going to let them pollute and spoil my need to express myself as the kind of person that basically I want to go to bed with. There are people looking to be a friend, a true friend. In other words, society never told people that. They never said, you know, there's good people out there that need to feel befriended. They have hearts filled with love. Good people look for good people, and literally they find each other. They do find each other. Well, they taught you, us, how to avoid that. They said, oh, no, it's all bad out there. All bad. Everything here is good. Everything here is good. All that bad.
Yeah.
Well, it was a lie. It was a lie. Now you have to, it's very difficult overcoming lies. It really is. It really is. That's what makes lies so dangerous. They're very difficult to overcome.
I just wondered if King Tony wanted to weigh in on what we were talking about.
Hi, King Tony. I gotta put my glasses on.
You're muted. Maybe she stepped away.
Unmute yourself if you're ready, Tony.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you go.
here. Hey guys,
Go ahead.
Hey, Tony.
how's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. This topic, it's sensitive. But just hearing Ruby talking about it brings memories of like when I was growing up. Like my parents didn't allow us to have friends at all in school. I mean, even in Kingdom Hall, it's like they would always tell us don't trust nobody, no matter who it was. And then the Kingdom Hall is like, even when going preaching, you don't really have that connection. You have to detach from the person you're talking to. You have to stay focused on your mission. So it's like, I don't know. I don't feel like that was a good example of making relationships and friendships. Sorry, excuse me. And it's I don't know, I just feel sad a little bit because, it sucks because I know friends are a blessing, and it can be a blessing. And there's such like having friends, someone to talk to, someone to, reach out to, like that's nice to have, a support system. But I feel like, since young, like I was raised to like be independent or like on my own. I mean, I don't think I've really gone into detail, but my dad was more of the abusive type, and my mom was more so using my dad to get to us. So the constant not trusting anyone. So if you can't trust your own parents, then who can you trust? So you gotta trust yourself. The
This
smaller
is
the circle,
interesting,
the better.
and I'm gonna jump in at this point. And
Mhm.
it's clear as a bell that the born-ins have been heavily influenced, not only by the organization but by their parents. Clear as a bell. I know it.
Yeah.
I know it personally. I know it not because I was raised that way. It's because I raised my children that way,
Yeah.
and I'm ashamed of that. But the point is, at this point, do you trust yourself to accept
I'm
your direction now?
I'm gonna be honest, I do right now feel really good with how I make my decisions in regards to how I protect my spiritual self. Because I realized that that's really what's important, that I was so eager to have someone there, or I felt like if they weren't there, then I was gonna suffer. It was just like that constant, I guess, codependent.
Uh-huh.
So once I learned that I didn't need to have someone there and I could, be able to how do you say that? Do things on my own, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Now it's
you have the
like,
right. You
I'm
have
sorry.
every right to do that. You have every right to do that.
Yeah, but I guess it's difficult to get out of that.
If I could ask you, Tony, and I know Ruby kind of touched on it last week. You
Yeah.
both are mothers. You're both young mothers. You have young children. So being brought up the way you were brought up and being, careful about their friends and you can't have friends with this one, you can't be friends with that one. How are you teaching your children now in view of what you went through and now being away from Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah, that is actually it's something I've actually been dealing with my son. Um, I get nervous, honestly, because now I know it's like, how am I gonna raise my children? You know, what do
Right.
I say? So I realized that I start asking him questions in regards to what a friend is. Like, do you know what a friend is? And how should a friend make you feel? And if you don't, if this friend is not making you feel this way, then what does that mean? Why is that? You know, you pinpoint those things, and I tell him the only way to fix it is to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
So you communicate to your friend or this person, this kid, and you ask him, hey, or tell him, hey, you know that you're hurting my feelings. This is how you're making me feel. I would appreciate if you could stop that, or don't
Mm-hmm.
talk to me that way, or don't do this.
Right.
And now his answer or reaction will let you know what type of friend is he.
Right.
Yeah.
How old is he, Tony? How old is your son?
He just turned 8 in
Oh,
February.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Good. It's good training. I like that you are
Yeah, I get
teaching him.
nervous, but it's like, because I was never allowed to have friends, so I'm so quick to being like, "Oh, you shouldn't be making friends in school," or "Don't talk to other kids," but, you know,
Yeah.
it's even like going on school trips. I was never allowed to go on school trips, and, like,
Mhm.
I have such anxiety when he goes on school trips. Like, if something is gonna happen and my mother-in-law tells me, "Don't call the bad." Don't like, in Spanish,
Mm.
like, she tells me, "Don't speak of the bad, or don't speak it into the air.
Oh.
Always be positive and hope the best
Mm.
and wish for the best. Put positivity out there."
But I gotta give props to Tony because she's more liberal than I am when it comes to her kids. Sh- um, and she lets them do the social media, talk to your little friends on the phone and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And not
But he
me.
has his cousins, yeah.
Yeah, the cousins. But that's
Yeah.
different. Cousins, that's family. I mean, like, his little friends at school, he does his little videos.
Oh, yeah, he
Tony
has his
Tony
own YouTube channel, but
Yeah,
I
like
thought,
you let him do those things.
yeah.
Not me. That's why I try to work this
No.
through verbally, about
Mhm.
the friend stuff.
Yeah.
Because exactly what I'm doing is what my mom did with me, right? With the homeschooling, it's a little bit more sheltered, but it's you have to provide the socialization. You gotta go
Mhm.
to the extracurriculars. You gotta go to the
Yeah.
co-ops. You gotta put yourself out there.
Yeah.
S-
Because
s-
you homeschool, right, Ruby?
Right. So
Right.
I'm a little bit more uh open but controlled situations. So
Yeah.
I don't let my kids hang out with anybody if I don't approve of it first. So since they don't go to public school, it's way easier to control the
Right.
circle of friends, which is exactly what I
Yeah.
do with myself. I control my situations and my interactions. It's very all of them are like controlled
It's
environments where you feel
yeah,
safe, secure,
yeah.
trustworthy.
Yeah. It feels horrible when you don't have the control. Like, oh my God, my nerves are crazy when my son's going on these trips. I really don't trust nobody. I
Mm.
mean, it's a sad thing, honestly. It's nothing to laugh about because
Mhm.
honestly, it does affect relationships and friendships. And and honestly, when you have been treated like this by your own parents, your own sisters, brothers, like, what is it gonna do if a stranger, treat you this way? It's like, all right, I'll cut you off. Just like I don't talk to my parents, I'm gonna put that boundary with you, or, you know?
Right. And like I told you guys, Joe and Fran, I had a 7-year, friendship with a real like BFF since childhood. Tony
Mhm.
had one for like 15 years.
Oh, about yeah.
And that one even
Mhm.
crumbled. So it's like,
Yep.
what?
Hmm.
And
You know,
she the religion too. Sorry, go ahead.
She was
Fran.
in the religion, yeah, and then she left and she went through her own traumas within the religion. She was never baptized, but she was like, I guess, raised in and out kind of. And she was my friend. I met her in middle school and I was studying with her aunt. And we were friends for over 15 years. But recently I had to like, yeah, pull away, which would made me sad, but sometimes I do believe that sometimes people come into your life for a period sometimes to help you through something,
mhm.
and that's okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Tony, because, well, Joe and I and Annie were older. So we've had
Mhm.
many, many, many friends, and Joe and I were not raised witnesses. So we had friends before,
Oh, okay.
you know, Jehovah's Witnesses. We had a lot of friends, went to
Mhm.
college.
Grade school friends, high school friends,
Oh,
college
wow, that's
friends.
awesome.
Well, but they're no longer quote unquote friends.
They were there for the
Oh,
time.
okay, right. I see what you're
They
saying.
were there
And
for the
we
time.
didn't lose any.
No,
They just simply were part of that
they
situation.
were part of our
Right.
lives at
See,
that time.
See, we
Right.
friends aren't things that you collect. You know, you don't collect
I like
friends.
that.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it sounds like, I got to get a friend because I want to start collecting them. And
Mm.
how do you do it? I want to collect a good one. You know, how do I collect a good friend? It's like that's possessive.
Yeah.
That sounds selfish. It really does.
Yeah.
It sounds very selfish. What we were basically brought up with is basically the requirements of friendship. In other words, what's it going to take for you to be a friend?
Mm-hmm.
In other words,
Mhm.
prove yourself a friend. Because it's like scratching backs.
No, there
You
you
know,
go.
it's like
Yeah.
if consider two different situations, 10 people in a room, everybody wants their back scratched.
Mhm.
Everybody wants their back scratched. They're all going to walk around. I want my back scratched. I need my back scratched.
That's a good point.
I want my
Good
back scratched.
analogy.
They're all walking around. Who's getting their back scratched? No one. But now, on the other hand, 10 people in a room, everyone would say, you know, I'm looking for someone. I want to be helpful and scratch someone's back. So now those 10 people, who gets their back scratched? Everyone. Everyone gets their back scratched.
They actually did this in one of Joe's classes. Joe went to school for counseling and student personnel, and
Oh,
it was an
wow.
exercise that they did. And what did the instructor did they tell you to look for someone to scratch
basically,
their back?
yeah, or
So
rub their back or pat their back or
Yeah,
whatever.
and so everybody had
Yeah,
their back.
everyone got in a position to. Yeah, I'm scratched because I'm looking for a back to scratch or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
As opposed to waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, I need my back scratched.
No
And
one's-
everybody's waiting to get their back scratched. It's
I
like
do have a question for Joe and Fran, and for Annie too, since they're way older than us.
Yeah.
Because two things I notice. So, question: do you think it's bad to say that you have a high standard for friendship, or that you don't necessarily have the need to make friends or keep friends? Because I did touch on that last week when I said,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't necessarily have a need or a want. It's just it just didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, Ruby, are you saying that's something that you express?
Yeah, I mentioned it last week. Like, I don't really care how other people,
I think sometimes friendships can happen naturally. Like it doesn't always
Right.
have to be something you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like
But my
my
question
friend,
is,
years, like I wasn't purposely looking for her. Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? It happened naturally, and
Yeah.
we just happened to be friends for 15 years.
Right.
But
Organic.
yes.
It was, and I like that, right? Because you get
Mhm.
along, the vibes are right. But my
Right.
question is
Exactly.
more like, so is it bad to say or to feel that I don't have a need or a want to become or make friends with anyone?
I don't think it's a matter of right or wrong. I think it's just where you're at right now.
Totally up to you.
Yeah, I
Totally
agree
up to
with
you.
Andy.
And
And
you
yeah.
you're very young, Ruby. You may very well change. But wanting to have friends and human relationship contact is very human. And so most people want this on some level. You mentioned about standard, high standard. Um, there's nothing wrong with having a high standard that in my opinion,
Good
I have
idea.
rather a high standard as well. So because of that, I only have a handful of friends and not a lot of friends either, because I was raised in, and I, again, like everyone who's talking here, I was never supposed to have friends and
You know,
we were,
can I this thing about the high standards, which are interesting. How would someone know, and I would say this too, how would you know what your standards really are if you don't illustrate them? They're just in your mind.
What do you mean by illustrate
In
it?
other words, is this just a concept in your mind, or is this a physical, actual performance practice that you possess?
Mm.
Is it possible for it to be both?
Yeah, absolutely. But in the one case, for it to be both, you'd have to actually practice it. You'd have to prove it. You'd have to show it. Someone says, I have a very high standard for automobiles. Oh, can you show me your very high standard automobile? Well, you would hope that he could, because see, there's my standard. That's what a standard is. In fact, in industry or in anywhere, a standard is something that you gauge everything else by. It's not. It's real. It's real. It's a standard.
but I think
Um,
you also know when you are interacting with someone, whether they're going to be someone that you are organically going to be drawn to and want to form a friendship with.
it's
Um,
chemistry. It's
yeah,
chemistry.
chemistry. Okay, that's a good way of putting it as well. Um, by saying in my head, I kind of have a standard, but I mean, I have contact with people of all kinds. For
Right.
example, being raised a witness. Let me give you an example because this was humbling for me. I work as an aide for a woman who is, well, she's actually my influence. Just being around me has helped her. But she was very rough and very crude and not physically clean. Not her place was very unclean, very uncomfortable for me. But I was asked to be her aide. So we went out in public, right? I mean, she looked really like someone just rolled on a bed, put a cap on her head, and went out the
Let's
door.
go.
And she smelled bad the first time I took her with me. And so I'm walking around in public with her, Walmart, and people are looking at me, looking at her, and you could see it all over their face. What are you doing with her?
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, okay, this is my opportunity to be more of a human and to, because as a witness, I would not be seen in public with someone like this, right? Because of
Right.
how it's gonna reflect on my reputation. So I stuck with it, and the one thing I did do is I told her, next time I pick you up, you are to shower and have clean clothes on, or I'm not gonna take you in my car. I
Atta
will
Right.
girl.
go do your shopping for you, but I'm not gonna take you in my car.
Those are
So
my standards.
that's my, there you go. That's my standard. And so she abides
Yeah.
by that
Mhm.
now.
Yep.
And but it was very humbling on my part. It took me
Yep.
a while to feel comfortable. And now it's like,
You,
well, I
you
really
know,
don't care because she's still a human being and she's actually improved quite a bit
that's
just by my
beautiful.
example.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
One of the things, Andy, and I appreciate your offering that. One of the things that the society never taught its members is humility.
Right.
Witnesses are
Definitely.
not humble.
Yep.
Witnesses are the furthest thing from humble that there is. We were brought up a different. We were brought up Catholic for all my life up until maybe
33.
18, no, 16 or
Excuse
17.
me, you left early.
Catholic grade
Yeah.
school, Catholic high school,
Yeah.
and you know, in the witness thing, it's like, oh my God, these people think a lot of themselves. It's like they want the best. They're going to have this. They're going to have that. They want this. They're going to say, you're the best. It's like, why? Why?
Yeah.
Why? And it's like, how can anyone live with anyone like that? And fact is, they can't.
Right.
They can't. And that's one of the pitfalls of coming out of that organization is learning humility.
Mm-hmm. Everything was
going to-
by the book.
And you're going to learn it from the people around you, like
That's
Andy
right.
did. Like Andy
Mhm.
did. Or you're
Because-
not, or you're not going to.
Right. Your peers actually teach you a lot. I remember a father saying that there's a lot of things in this world that I can't teach my children, but their peers will teach them.
That's
Mhm.
right.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
that's why I liked when Fallen Ashes came last week and she said that she used to read the Young People Ask book.
Mhm.
That's literally how we taught ourselves as born-ins on how to
Mhm.
make friends, the
Oh
chapter
my
about
gosh, you're
relationships.
right. Oh my
We would
goodness.
we would go to that
Right.
book for everything.
Yes.
And you know that, and that's why that book really does trigger me, because when when me and my child's father got the F and they were coercing our marriage, that's literally what my mother gave me. She gave me the book, opened up to the chapter of relationships, and there's a literal checklist on there,
Mhm.
and she told me to go through that list, and then I read it. And we've read that chapter millions of times before, right? As soon as the book first came out, we've been reading it.
Mhm.
And then that's when she gave me like the ultimatum. She was like, okay, so are you going to get married or what? And I'm like, what? Based on these 2 pages? Like, are you serious right now? So, now looking back, that's how dangerous it is to go by the textbook, to go by
Mhm.
books, to
Exactly.
go by what something's written.
And how old were you, Ruby, at that time?
17.
Yeah, 17.
Let me give you an example that's even more shocking than that. I was talking to a gentleman recently, and he was talking about how he got this girl pregnant. And by the way, he was talking, I'm thinking teenage years, of course. But as the conversation went on, I got the idea he wasn't a teenager. So he got married because his mother, who was a little Italian woman, told him he's going to marry, going to do what's right, and marry her. Well, come to find out, he was 31 years old
Yeah.
when he got this woman pregnant. And he married her because his mother told him to. At
Oh my
31.
gosh.
So
Oh my goodness.
that says a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Carrie Kay says you're right, Joe. JWs have a better than everyone else attitude.
Oh, it's terrible.
Something that disgusted me when I
It's
left.
horrible.
My empathy, compassion, and tolerance for others increased 100-fold.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
when you realize that there are more than 8 billion people in the world, and
Right.
frankly, you're not better than any one of them.
Right.
Neither am I.
Right.
It's like, I just hope I can remain in company with them so that they don't think I'm better than them.
Right.
Because you don't get along with somebody if they think, oh, you're better than me, aren't you? Oh, yeah? You're better than me.
Right.
That's what you think, huh?
So you really have to take yourself down a notch, several notches,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
being a witness to
See,
feel
that's
that.
the society did a horror, and they knew that instilling that attitude in people would automatically keep them from making friends with other people because
Well,
they could
yeah.
sense it. They could sense it. Oh, you think you're better than us, don't you? sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not interested, slam.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
Yeah,
They
they
know-
can't even entertain topics of different topics of conversation with people and different. They're like trained to like, oh, if you sense that they're not agreeing or they're trying to change it or take control of the conversation, then cut the conversation quick and leave.
Yeah, yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
mean, we
didn't
got
find
some
out
people.
until I was sorry, Joe. I keep interrupting you.
No,
Well,
I interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, we interrupt each other.
Okay.
I didn't find out until years after I was in a high school that the kids thought I was stuck up, but I
Yeah.
wasn't stuck
Wow.
up. I was just
No.
the opposite. I was very shy
Yeah,
and felt inferior.
Yeah.
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 Chris, we're talking about feeling superior, but also I had that JW indoctrination that you don't make friends with people
Mhm.
anyway.
Mhm.
Yep.
But I didn't feel superior in that case. I felt just the opposite. But I
See,
came
what's
off
so-
as being superior.
See, what's so beneficial about all this isn't what they did. It isn't what we or you took on. It's understanding what they
Right.
did. It's
Yeah.
understanding what you took on, understanding what it means, and whether or not you want to retain that or get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's your choice. But it's so important. See, they left people with a very heavy responsibility of learning the dirt that they threw on us.
Mhm.
And now you got to figure out, how do I clean it off? I need to clean it off. Otherwise, I'm going to have this dirt on me forever. Because there's good stuff. There's very good people and good things in front of us. And basically, we need to be, prepared and ready for it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And
It's a
Joe,
beautiful world.
maybe not realizing, going back to that problem of elitist mentality, which is what
Mhm.
Jehovah's Witnesses had.
Mhm.
Maybe our problem is, when you first go out into the world, is having to learn to be humble and drop that elitist mentality.
True.
Mhm.
Like Ruby was saying, she didn't care to make friends. Well, maybe, and I'm not judging you, Ruby, but maybe that's because now you don't have anybody good enough out in the world. Maybe it's a matter of really being more humble and recognizing that everyone around you is doing the same thing you're doing. They're trying to have a
Yeah.
life, just trying to have a life.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And they're not all bad people. I've met some very good people. It took me a
Mhm.
while, believe me, to be able to feel comfortable having
Mhm.
a friend who wasn't a J-Dub. Although I never really had really good J-Dub friends either.
Right.
They were
I mean,
they were acquaintances, you
Yeah.
know?
right. Right.
And
But
the
then
the
there's
way
some
you,
people that you just knew.
yeah, and the way
There's
you
just
know
some
is,
people that's like
yeah,
that's a definite no or a definite yes. But that's why I've gotten those standards. Now I know them. I've made them my own. I'm not having a religion or a cult dictate my standards anymore. And I am comfortable with those standards now. But I think that's also a side issue, is that I also have been accused of that, of not either being humble or empathetic enough or whatever other emotion that I'm either not expressing, then I ultimately don't have it. Like, I've been accused of that.
Mhm.
And it bothers me, right? Because just like Annie said, no, it's the complete opposite. So sometimes it does bother me because it may come across however it does, right? The things that I say, but that doesn't mean I don't have those emotions, right? I just
Right.
either don't choose to show them, or I don't know how to show them, right? I'm still learning, we are
Yes,
post cults. We're still learning this stuff.
of course.
That
And
doesn't
you've
mean I
got-
don't have it.
Yeah, no, that's a good
Well, the
point.
attorney, the lawyer made a statement. He said that about love, and he said about friendship too, that it takes bravery
Mhm,
and it's fearful.
mhm.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
it's like that with anything that's powerful. We
But if it's
don't know how to
worthwhile,
handle it.
if it's something that's worthwhile, then it's worth going through the pain if it comes. And like he was
Mhm.
saying, it's going to come eventually anyways,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
no matter how loyal someone is to you, either you're going to die and leave them,
Right.
or they're going
Yeah.
to die and leave you.
It's right.
So you can shelter yourself your whole life from not having any of this pain, but
Yeah.
boy,
Yeah.
you
and
miss out.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a trade-off.
Yeah. I
I
actually
think
met
it's
a
also a risk too. It's a
Yeah,
risk.
yeah,
It
it
is.
is a risk.
I
But you know
met
what?
this.
No
Just
risk, no
let me
gain.
finish this and
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead, Annie. Go
I'll
ahead.
stop talking. In view of the risk, is just as much a risk for the other person to trust you
Yeah,
as it is for you to trust them.
yeah,
They're
Yeah,
risky
that's
as
true.
well.
yeah. You're gonna
Yeah.
make them feel bad. You're gonna make them feel bad if you don't trust them.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a decent person.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say we were in this we moved around a lot for different reasons, and we were in this congregation for a short time. It was only 8 months, and I met this sister, and she said, "I don't like to make new friends because every time I make a friend, they either move away
Well,
or they die." And so she was like, "Wow, okay, yeah, I know where you're coming from,
that's like,
but."
excuse me.
But on the other hand, someone can look at it like, hey, I can be your friend, even if you're only here for 8 months. I can learn something from you. You can learn something from me. And then we go on in our life and we've added that to our life.
Right.
You know, you want
That's
to
the way I look
Yeah.
at
you want
it.
to think of this. This actually separates people, classifies different types of people. In other words, the ones that are open-hearted, seeking new relationships, willing to be flexible with them,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have more open hearted relationships, and they're going to experience more of the enjoyment from that. And the ones that, well, are more reserved or guarded, well, if they want to really cut themselves off from the risks of that, then they will. And what I say is, to each their own. In other words, if they're comfortable with that, if it serves them, then that's good. Because frankly, each one of us has every right to make the decisions for ourselves and to learn from our decision, the consequences of our decision. We will learn from them. We will learn from them. If we thought one thing was one way, do it and you'll find out whether or not it's so. And then you can say, no, I think I'm going to have to revise my decision. You know, I thought one thing one before, now I'm going to have to change it. This is interesting it's an experiential thing. And experience is what you learned right after you needed it the most.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
After. You learned it after, not before.
And something, Joe, I think you agree with me too, that as you get older, you learn how to control your emotions and not invest them wholeheartedly
Yeah.
until,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I've learned to hold some back.
Yeah.
For example, in my marriage, it ended, but I emptied myself in my marriage. I lost myself totally,
Yeah.
and I will not do that again.
Yeah.
I will
understand.
not give that much of myself away. So I've learned how to keep my emotions more in check, and that takes.
But yeah, you haven't closed yourself off completely.
No,
Right?
no, not at all.
No. Right.
No. But
Exactly.
I'm more in control of my emotions now.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it meant that I lost my innocence and my trusting that
Yeah.
I had for a very long time. It took a
Yeah.
lot to destroy that in me. But I wish I hadn't had to lose my innocence. But I've also learned a lot along the way, and I'm in a better place because of it. But yeah, I kind of miss my innocence. I was always a very idealistic person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not so much now.
Ideals are really, really hard to manage. You know, you can entertain them in your mind. I know that. I feel the same. I'm the same, but they do not work out.
No, they don't.
There's something you can aim for, but boy, you better be open for what's realistic.
Yeah, it's very disillusioning when reality hits.
Well, see, that's where humility comes in. See,
Yeah.
humility is, well, I've got this ideal here, and boy, this is what we're going to achieve. Doesn't come about. Well, it's better than having nothing. Otherwise, I would be totally without. And as opposed to saying, screw it, I'm never going to do this again. If I can't have everything that my mind says, I don't want anything. It's like, okay, don't have anything then.
Right.
see if you enjoy that more.
I just want to interject and say we've got 40 minutes left. We're ending at 10 o'clock. And if anyone wants to come on, just go to the top of the live chat and tap on Fixing My Faith in the StreamYard, and Ruby will let you in. We really appreciate this discussion.
Yeah.
And, Ruby, it's okay to, be where you're at with
my
things
goodness.
right now, because
Yeah.
like you said,
It's
you're
your life.
learning,
Oh,
you're exploring. This is all new to you, being cultless, out of the cult.
This is the
And you're learning a lot.
This is the new foundation that your family life is being built on.
Yeah.
It's a privilege. It's
And
your
you're going to be
privilege.
okay, Ruby. You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll work
Yeah.
through this, and you're going to learn an awful lot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident. Like, I don't feel like I'm lacking something or I'm missing something.
Right.
It, like I said before, I don't think it's a bad thing not to even have them, because I grew up alone by myself.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily lonely, but just by myself because I'm an only child.
Right.
I mean, Tony had like 4 other brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Mhm.
So she had automatic friends by
Yes,
birth.
that's true. They were my friends. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I grew
Yeah.
up alone by myself. So it's not so far reaching to
Right.
say that
Yeah.
I really don't need anybody, because I've learned just from being alone for so long. And then the shunning process kind of just proved to me that I can depend on myself. So my confidence grew over the years, that
Hey,
I could look at myself in the mirror and say, you did it. Look at you. You were anxious for nothing. You were depressed for nothing. You made it. You didn't need anybody.
Mhm.
Hey, Ruby, I have to ask you,
mhm.
being an only child, did you have any imaginary friends that you would talk to or play with or anything?
No, but I was fascinated with mirrors.
Okay.
For a very long time, I was.
Oh,
It was a thing.
that's nice.
We're not laughing at you, Ruby. We're laughing with you.
Laughing with
No, I'm
you.
laughing too, because I could tell you the truth right now. I was so fascinated with mirrors that my mom got me evaluated, because she would
That's
see
great.
me performing in front of the mirror. And then
Wow.
when I got older, people started calling me vain. Like, oh, you think you're good looking or something?
Love
And I
that
would get,
mirror, do you?
yup. So I had to stay away from mirrors. That was one thing.
I've got to relate something with mirrors with one of our children, one
Oh,
of the
yeah.
girls. She was, I don't know, 7 or 8 maybe at the time.
Oh, maybe younger.
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 Well, at any rate, there was a window,
Oh, yeah, she was young.
and she saw the window, and she looked at the window, and she saw her reflection in the window. Well, she wasn't ready for that, but she saw the reflection, and she kind of look at it. She looked at it sideways, and she started to wave to see if it was someone else,
Oh.
She
not
was
her.
discovering
And I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, you caught the picture of
I
it.
thought that was beautiful.
And the reason why I asked that,
It's a
if you-
discovery.
yeah,
That's a discovery.
that is. And the reason why I asked Ruby, because our oldest, he was, an only child for 2.5 years, and he did have an imaginary friend. His name was Boko, and he would talk to him and play with him.
Oh.
And then eventually we had our daughter, and then another daughter 15 months later, and then our son 18 months later. So like Tony was saying, that you had your brothers and sisters and they were your friends.
Fabulous friends.
They were an automatic friend. And to this day, they are very close. And they all, they're shunning us, but they have each other. And
Yeah.
even though 3 of them are married, they always get together and, keep in touch with each other. So that was the advantage of having children close in age, because they had automatic friends.
So Ruby, if you want to blow your mind, stand in front of a full-length mirror with a full-length mirror behind you, and you look
Oh.
into infinity of mirrors.
Oh my
It
god.
bounces back and
Oh,
forth.
wow.
Yeah.
Yep, that was a moment. But after that stage, I dived into Barbies. I was obsessed, and that's why I like Alora, because she does like the whole Barbie thing on her channel,
Uh-huh.
and I love it because me and my our younger cousin, I used to play. She was my designated Barbie like player. I would force that girl to play Barbies with me till she was like maybe 10 or something. Like she was old and she was like, "We're gonna play Barbies." I'm like, "Yes, schedule." Like hallway, we are playing Barbies. And I would live out different lives through the Barbies because I couldn't do it in real life, right? It's like playing
Right.
Sims, but with
Right.
a doll. So that was another phase for me until I was like 13, 14. And then I got rid of the Barbies. By 15 is when I shut down, like completely. And then that's when I got reproved later on. And then, the rest is history. But like that was when everything ended for me. So that mentality, I've had to grow from there. From 15, 16, 17. Now I'm like 28. That's a long time of reflection in pure silence. Like, what went wrong and why did it go wrong? Was it my fault? Whose fault was it? Now, what do I do about it? Who takes accountability? And I struggled with that for a really long time through a lot of anger and hatred. And I had to move past it. So now I can safely say I don't hate anybody anymore. And I've I don't hold grudges anymore because I saw how useless it was. It didn't do anything for me. So I would never waste time again doing that, moping around, being depressed, hating people for no reason, demanding apologies or getting emotional. Like I'm done with that. So it may come across as if I don't have those emotions. Like I said before, I very much have them. I just don't display them. I got really good at that poker face because I had to push through life regardless of my feelings.
Right.
Like your feelings don't matter anymore because you have kids you have to raise and you don't have family or friends to help you through that motherhood, doing all of that the way me and King Tony were kicked out as mothers. Like literally pregnant mothers, newborns on the street. And we had to rely and flock to these men who we barely knew, or, her relationship was really new. And we had to stick to these men who we probably otherwise wouldn't. I would have never gotten married. I would have never even seen that guy again. He was not my friend. That was just a mistake.
Right.
But we had to learn how to suck it up and move forward. So those feelings, they don't phase us anymore. You know what I'm saying? So the hardships
I
kind
think
of,
you learn to be okay with things. You roll with the punches. It's like I think it's more so we expect, or I expect. I think I've said this before. I prepare for the worst, and I don't know how to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the moment sometimes, because I'm constantly preparing for, what if this happens?
King Tony, what I say, because I tend to have feelings like that. I came when I found out that things don't turn out the way I think, the worst they don't. I that point realized I reserve the right to be surprised. In other words, I'm gonna be surprised. I'm not gonna predict. I'm not gonna
Right.
worry about the worst. I'll just be surprised, and that's okay. I found myself opting to be surprised rather than dreading.
So is that something you had to tell yourself often?
Oh my goodness, yes, absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And it's the constant, so that'll help with the worrying and the anxiety and things like that.
Yeah. We have to manage ourselves, our worries. You can't just shed them. They don't. It's you. It's the me. As soon as we are willing to manage it, then it's in our control rather than
Yeah.
controlling us.
Yeah, my mother-in-law told me, don't worry about something that hasn't happened yet. Worry about right now.
And in most cases, what you're worried about in most cases never happens.
Right.
I
90%.
think it's the worry of failing them, or it's just I don't want my kids to ever experience what I experienced. So
Oh
like it's
my
a
goodness.
constant like trying to protect them, but like
Yeah.
I've kind of gotten to the point. I did this back when I moved across country with just myself and my son, and I'm a small town girl. It took a lot of courage for me. I had to dig really deep in my reserves to make that move, but I was excited, scared to death, but I just decided I'm going to do this because I had had some counseling, and they said, face your fear, but do it anyways. So I did. It took me a while to get to the point where I actually made the move. But I just started out and I thought, okay, I'm going to face life as it comes at me. That's all I can do. I'm not going to worry about it.
Annie, you said it took you time.
Yeah, about a year.
Doesn't happen all at once. Does not. Give yourselves time. Give
Right.
yourselves time. Yeah.
And I was an older woman anyways. Not old, but I was mature.
I like what Alan, you said. Ruby, you articulate well and have a strong heart. You're a survivor. Don't
Yeah.
look back and analyze. Look at the blessings you have after leaving the JW cult. A new day. Life is too short.
Many do.
yes.
And is that,
Amen.
yes, amen. And it faded in
Amen.
San Diego. Thank you for joining us.
Aaron.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, Alan just said it right there that you're a survivor, don't have to look back and analyze. I probably have been doing that myself for 20 plus years. And it's taken me now in my late 40s to finally start letting stuff go. And I remember some of the stuff that I remember talking to Elle on her program, how I was always put on. I was pretty much like one of those individuals that, like in a very similar way, like Tony had brought up earlier on, didn't trust even my parents. I trusted more my little, since it was brought up in the chat, my sock puppets and imaginary friends more than them. So, but yeah, it's just I kind of learned as I got older how to read people and everything like that. Something that I know we were not allowed to do as the org. Um, I pretty much have started to stabilize myself on a mental scale now versus maybe like several months ago, because now I'm not doing that turn the other cheek, the people pleaser mentality like we were trained to do and all that stuff. But there's been certain friends that I have met along the road, whether it's online here or whether it's online or off at the other places that I go to, that I've selected a little bit better, and I've learned to make better choices in life as a in comparison to, say, when I was in my mid 20s, if you want to call it that. I just kind of had to keep in mind that phrase that Edmund Burke said, that those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why, not that I'm trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I think it's just one of those reasons why the fade process this time around has been a lot more successful, with still certain damaging consequences, but not in comparison to how it was when I tried back in my early 20s. So, you live and you learn. And sometimes I think the best medicine for me is to I look at like I wasn't thrown out on the street as a single parent, not like the way Ruby and Tony had brought up, but you know, I did take some licks when I was a kid. But I think when I take a look about General Patton had this phrase when he said, no matter how much you've been through, there's always somebody that's been through more. Well, safe to say that everybody on this stream has been through a hell of a lot more than I probably would ever endure in a lifetime. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I've been able to let go of certain things a little bit more easier nowadays versus then, and just learn to figure out who I am, discover myself. And it's been an interesting ride, but it's also been a fun, adventurous ride too.
I'm glad to have you on the adventure.
Yeah.
It's the adventure is all out here. It really is. And you're all brave for it. You're brave for coming out and exposing yourselves to it.
Yeah.
But you're right for doing it, because this is where your life is. This is where all your treasure is. There's a saying, I don't remember who said it, but the cave you fear to enter holds the prize that you seek. So it's understandable.
That was we did his video. We did
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
Joseph
Campbell.
Joseph Campbell.
Yeah.
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 And we're all
There's
different from each other anyways, you know, just because one person very easily makes friends and treasures them doesn't mean we're all going to be that way. That's great for them, but and that doesn't, I'm not saying we should cut ourselves off and not make friends, but I'm just saying that we all function differently as we go through life, and what works for one person won't work for the next person. So you do have to find what's going to work for you.
Mhm.
I guess the concern is just don't short yourself either on some very good experiences in life by
That's
getting
right.
to know people.
Ruby, I have to think about the mirror that you spoke of being so, so enamored with when you were younger. We seek others who become a helpful mirror for us. That's really what others are around us. They're that mirror that shows us the things that we need and want to see in ourselves. And
Yes.
you're not going to unless you put yourself in front of them. And almost have to endure it. Sometimes you have to endure the person that's in front of you, because like, I really don't want to be in front of this person right now, but I'm going to be open-minded and see if there's anything there that I need to see for myself, or that person needs to see. And that's the optimistic, hopeful view, that we all have something very valuable for each other. We really do. We really do.
But I think that's one of the standards, right? Like that's just one of like the standards. It's like you want to make a friend who you look up to, that you want to achieve more, like somebody who's ahead of you in life so that you can learn from them. So a good friend, in my opinion, would be somebody who's a little bit ahead of me, and I want to go down that road too, of either success or family or homeschooling, like whatever it is. I look for the other mothers and families that are in my opinion, oh, she's doing it way better than me. Let me befriend her. Let me talk to her. Let me, socialize a little bit more so that I can learn. And then, the friendship is kind of like it goes along with it organically, like we were saying earlier. It just happens.
Yeah.
But
So
Ruby,
Go
don't
ahead.
underestimate what you can learn from people who are more humble than you, and their level of living, perhaps. Or I had this happen. Now this is as a JW mentality, but I had this sister just pose a question to me one time, and she herself had mental problems. She was very simple, but she just asked me a very simple question, and it was kind of hard for me to take it from her, to be honest with you, because I'm more intelligent, if you will, and don't have her handicaps that she has. But I thought I had to stop myself and not take offense. I thought, okay, in this case, it's a JW. I thought, all right, Jehovah's trying to teach me something through this woman. I need to be humble enough to accept it. So it was, if nothing else, in that setting, it was a lesson again in being humble and being willing to take counsel, if you will, because the point she made was very appropriate for a JW.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
yeah, you
Ruby?
could. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Annie. No,
No,
finish what you were going to say.
I pretty much was done.
I was just going to say, and Ruby, look at it the other way. You want friends that you can look up to and that you can learn from. Think of the people that can learn from you.
They're going to need
Your experience, being a mother, a young mother, going through life, growing up in a cult. Think of the things that people can learn from you. So it works both ways. That's what friendship is. That's what being a friend is. It works both ways.
I agree with that. That would be a friend to me. And you know, there's two things that I've realized, like just now that I remember. I've realized that a lot of those problems stem from the type of relationship I had with my father.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like a dad. He was my friend.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that until for a really long time, because I was very bitter. Like, oh, he should be like this. He should have, be a real dad or like a real father or been in my life or, whatever. You start blaming your parents for everything, right? You go through that little rebellious phase.
Yeah.
But I started to realize, it's like, how can I blame somebody for something that they never were to begin with? Because he wasn't my father. He was very detached. He didn't really know me. He just picked me up every other weekend and did things like go to the mall, go to the movie theater, buy me stuff, like going on a date. But it was like, but it's my dad. So even though we're biologically, father-daughter, he was my friend.
Wow.
And I was more upset that he didn't know me for all those years.
Yep.
That's
right.
Yeah,
So I admit that now. Like I realized that. But
Ruby,
then
that's unfinished business. That's
unfinished business. That's forever. That's forever unfinished.
Well, yeah.
And what was the second thing? You said two things.
Oh yeah. So the second one. Oh, good night, Tony. She has to go to bed.
Okay. Good night, Tony.
Good night. And then the second thing was, I think sometimes I'm too honest, or like I'm too blunt, or I'm too forward with people. Like maybe that's what it. Like I try to think in outside perspective. Maybe I am too honest sometimes, and people do not. I guess they don't recognize it, or they take it for granted, or they don't believe me when I say something because they're so used to people lying, And then I used to get no. I would rather say used to think that everybody in the world lies and that they don't live their truth and that what they tell you to your face is not how they really feel. And that used to hold me back a lot because I used to question everybody. Like, yeah, you say this now, but that's not how you really feel. And then on the other hand, I'm like, oh, I never lie. I tell you the truth because, I grew up as a witness. So lying came from Satan. I would never lie. Right. And I still believe that. I'm totally honest. But I think either people don't take it as it is, like my word. They don't take my word. Or maybe they just don't. They would either like maybe be offended by the things I say. Maybe I tell the truth too much. Like, I don't know. It's like I have to learn how to how to talk. I don't know. I don't know. I just notice things about myself that sometimes.
That's good.
And that comes with more experience, practice with people.
Yeah.
That comes. It really does.
Hi, Eric.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello,
Good.
Eric.
Thank you for
Good.
joining us.
Hello, Eric.
Yeah. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thank you, Joe and Fran and Shauna and Vern and Ruby for everything that you guys do. Having like a channel for people to talk about their problems, or there's so many different there's so many different problems that the organization has left us with, like in a big hot mess, and everyone suffers from it differently, and
Yeah.
it's just nice to know that we have a people to talk to. I know that it's not for me personally. It's hard not having friends in the flesh, but I'm so grateful to have, and I do consider a good percentage of the people I talk to my friends.
Mhm.
You know, especially you guys. You're the only ones that met Desiree, and Jerry, I think, is the only other person that's talked to her. We used to talk on Fridays on the phone, but I just wanted to make that point though, that thank you for. I know you're going to be leaving in about 15 minutes, but I wanted to let you know that. I mean, I do the same thing too. I listen to people on my show, but we're all in this together, and I just wanted to make sure you guys all know that I appreciate you too.
Thank you for being part of it.
Yeah, we
Eric.
appreciate it, Eric. And
Yeah.
a personal note, because I don't know if you came in when that video was showing about death and how
I
we
watched
are
it. Yeah.
we're all gonna lose someone at some point.
Everybody.
Interesting. Joe and I on Monday we made 3 appointments. Tuesday we went. Let's see. Today's Wednesday. Monday we got in, and we saw an undertaker in Joe's city.
For me.
Okay, where he was born. Tuesday we had an appointment, and I saw the undertaker. We both went together. We saw the undertaker for me because I was born in a different town. Tomorrow we're going to go have our 3rd visit with a psychiatrist. The first psychiatrist retired, so this is a woman who took his place. And one of the reasons we went, is to, talk about how we wanted, how our death, how we want our death to be. The other point was to tell them about the witnesses, and they were just flabbergasted. The first one that we went to, he was young, and his father was best friends with the Jehovah's Witness, and he said, I have got to tell my father about this. I don't know if he realizes, about the CSA, about all the problems with Jehovah's Witnesses. So we were there for 2 hours. We spoke with him, Dominic. Yesterday, we spoke with Vinny, for me, for 2 hours. And tomorrow, we go to the psychiatrist. And again, the goal is to make awareness of the Jehovah's Witnesses and what they're doing. So I just thought I'd mention that because, we're talking about death and what we want
And
done.
it's so beneficial sharing things with the psychiatrist, therapist too.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Our goal is to inform people that would normally not know about the Jehovah's Witnesses, the other side that we all experienced. So we really encourage anyone to reach out to whoever and let them know about the witnesses and what's going on.
I've been kind of noticing too that it seems like there's more people taking psychology that are trying to get more familiar with high control groups and things like that. Because I remember the very first meetup last March that I went to with Steph. There was one of the other members was there, and after their first original meetup that was scheduled during the day, it was the 3 of us, Steph's best friend and Andre's girlfriend. And Andre's girlfriend, we all went up to a different establishment in Oceanside, but his girlfriend, I believe, was learning to be a psychologist to deal with such matters as far as like with cult, high control groups and things like that. And that seems to be, she's never been in the org or anything like that, but hearing the stories from Dre has been making kind of like her curious on, she needs to look up on this. And of course you got Elle, who's was in it, but it seems like that kind of psychological help is starting to become more available out there nowadays, which is
it's a growth industry now.
Yep, that's probably a good thing too.
Yes,
Yes.
there really is.
Yes.
There's a huge need for it. You know, as more of this becomes aware, people become aware of it. Now it's out in the open. Now it can be dealt with. Can't deal with it if it was behind closed doors. Now it's thankfully it's in the open.
Dallas said he has to share something. If he wants to come on now, you can. Just go to the top of the live chat and tap on the link for fixing my faith. Ruby,
Yeah.
did you want to tell us the name of the movie tonight?
Yes. So right after the show, we're gonna be watching another movie that was suggested by someone on Discord. I guess you'll have to remember who you are because I can't remember. But the movie is Battleship 2012. It's an action movie. And I haven't seen it, so I am excited. I see Dallas backstage. I see you, Dallas, but your device is not connected. And he has the same issue on my show. I don't know what it is, Dallas. You have to connect your mic or the camera. And I think it's if you're on a phone, I think that's what it is. It has to be like an app's permission or something, a browser permission. You have to allow StreamYard to take your voice or your camera, because it's not even letting me click on you to like bring on the stage. So yeah, it's probably his phone. Yep. Dang. Now I guess we'll never know. Dallas said he wanted to tell us something. I mean, tell Joe and Fran something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dallas, keep trying.
If he called,
Yep. Yeah.
If he called on the phone, we could hear it. And
yeah, that's the only way he can do it. He can call our
on the
number,
phone, and then
and he can relate it, and we
we'll
can put it on.
Yeah, you'll hear it on here.
Put it on
Oh,
speaker.
you mean like call you guys right now?
Yeah,
just call us.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. The phone number's there, Dallas. You can call Joe and
give us a
Fran right
call.
now.
Call us, Dallas.
We got a few minutes to spare.
Yeah, we got time.
So before Dallas, whenever he comes on, I just wanted to tell you something, guys, quick. Joe and Fran, something that I did today, very spontaneous. Last night I was, that I was doing interviews, right? Like I did the interview with Amazon, and I went to that. It was nothing of what I expected. It was crazy, but okay, Dallas is backstage again. So Dallas, just call the phone number on this banner right here. That's Joe and Fran's cell phone number. So just call them on the regular phone, and then they'll put you on speaker for us so we could hear you.
Yeah, it'll work.
Okay, so hopefully okay.
So
Hey, Ruby.
Yeah.
As far as you being like, to back up just a little bit, when you were saying you were like too blunt, or you say things too fast or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be blunt with the audience. The world is full of a bunch of pussies, and they can't handle facts, and everybody's feelings are hurt. And for people who just are straight shooters, we have to suffer because you don't have the balls to face reality.
Right.
And I'm not saying you. I'm saying, yes, I got your back, hon.
Thank you. You said it better than I ever could, because that's exactly how I feel. And then it's like
there's
a
nothing
reverse.
wrong, and there's nothing wrong with making people feel uncomfortable. We should all feel uncomfortable. If something's wrong, then we should feel uncomfortable about it and be okay with the uncomfortable words being said because of the feat of righteousness or whatever.
Right.
And also, to be balanced, I have learned to shut my mouth when it comes to business. So I worked at a body shop, and a guy asked me, how do you feel about that Virginia shooting? Or no, sorry, he said the shooting. I said, which one? The one in Virginia. I said, "Oh, I watched that video. It was fake." And my boss got so angry at me, like demonically angry. He's like, "What? Are you insinuating that the media would lie to us?" I'm like, "Of course they do." And I saw the video; it was fake as hell. This was back in like 2012, and it was definitely like not a real story. And it had no, even though they put it on mainstream media, it did not hold any like solidity to it, to the foundations of any of the claims. No one died. It was all fake. It was a fugazi. And I lost that job because of my political opinions. So yes, you do need to know when to play chess and when to be quiet and when to speak.
Right.
You know, because like, but when it comes to money, I can't help but think of 50 Cent. He's like, "Oh, I ain't talking politics. Hell no." He's like, "I'm here to make money." And I respect that because he's a secret Donald Trump supporter, so I respect him. But anyways, that's my 2 cents.
But Eric, you see what he just said, Eric, and let me know if you've ever felt like this, because now that I know that fact, right, about myself, about how I come across, if that does happen, right, I feel it's kind of like a reverse eggshell. Like you feel like you're walking on eggshells, but in reverse, because now it's like, I don't know if I'm going to
that's a
say
good
something
analogy.
and this person is going to start, bawling, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and I wouldn't feel comfortable getting close to somebody like that if I can't be myself, because I'm going to feel like I'm walking on eggshells with people.
Yeah,
and I
that's
don't
a good.
feel like
That's a
that.
good analogy.
No, you don't.
I'm going to steal that from you. I'll give you credit for it, but I'm going to use it. I like that reverse eggshell. That's good.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah.
There is this word called tact, and that's something we actually did learn as witnesses. Tact, not a bad word, but it just means you learn how and when and with whom you're speaking to. In other words, consider your audience, and so you adapt. For example, you wouldn't talk to a 90-year-old woman, 92-year-old woman the same as you talk to a 21-year-old woman, most likely, right? Because out of respect and recognize that that woman comes from a different era. She's might not like the coarse language, and so you tailor it, right? Or myself, I don't do religion now, but I respect other people's religion, and so I don't say anything in a negative way that puts religion down, even though that's where I'm at personally, because that means a lot to them. So that word tact might help you out a little bit to learn how, when, and where, and with whom you can be open in yourself. You're not walking on eggshells, but you're showing respect and honor to other people, so as you don't callously hurt people's feelings or come off like you're superior, whatever. Maybe that's helpful to you, maybe it's not. But.
Right. Yeah. But for me personally, once it gets to that point, it's not a friend. Like I cannot be comfortable. If I can't be comfortable with being myself, like I always have to think before I speak, or be tactful in that sense that you're saying, then that's gonna move back you into the acquaintance category.
Well, Ron Paul's not your friend?
I wasn't talking about friendship. I was just talking about in general, in dealing with people in general.
No one got my joke.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric, say that one more time.
Ron Pomo's not your friend?
Oh my God.
I remember that one, right?
It's called I'm doing a little bit of trolling. I'm trolling Ruby a little bit.
Yeah, at least I respect him more now for saying it to my face. At least.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough, right? You see the good in everyone.
Yes, because he was honest. I'm honest. I respect it.
I don't like you.
That was epic.
That could be a meme for sure.
Yep. Before we hop off, Joe and Fran. So I was gonna tell you something. So remember I went on that interview for like the Amazon stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I did that. It was nothing of what I expected. It was like a recruiting session. It was like 30 people there.
Yeah.
It was not a one-on-one interview. So I went all dressed up, and I looked like a sore thumb or something. There was only like 2 other people that were appropriately dressed
Mhm.
as you should be for an interview, right? So I don't know how that's going to work out, but I've been applying for other types of jobs, right? And
Yeah.
I applied to one literally last night before my live show. And this morning I get a phone call for an interview. And so spontaneously I was like, I think I'm available today. Like, I'm only on Wednesdays. I usually, have the car or whatever. So she said, yeah, just come whenever you want before 5 p.m. I was like, oh, wow. So at 4 o'clock, I took a ride over there and I did an interview today, like out of nowhere. And I was so anxious, sweating all over again. I went through all the motions. I went through all the motions of speaking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did it today. I went and I did an interview. It
Wow.
literally lasted 7 minutes.
Huh.
It was the quickest interaction I have ever had. And I
Wow.
felt like it was going in slow motion in my
Wow.
brain.
Huh.
Like I don't know what that was for me. Like, I was in the moment and I had great eye contact. And now looking back, I'm like, I hope I didn't look like a creep, looking at this guy in his face without blinking. Cause I literally I sat down on the chair and I had my back straight up, all proper, like how we used to sit at the meetings. And I had a dress, I looked so JW days, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was whatever. So I'm sitting on the desk and I have like my hands crossed here with my back all straight up. And it's literally 7 minutes and it was over. And he kept saying, well, do you have any questions for me? You have any questions for me? And I'm like, no, I mean, everything you said was in the listing, is in the posting. Like, you didn't say anything new. I don't know what to question. I don't know, guys. I think I have social anxiety or something. Like, I need to go to a class on how to talk to people. I felt like such a creep today.
Oh dear. You're gonna do better and better. We got Dallas on the phone.
Thank you.
Thank
Ruby.
you.
Okay, Dallas. Hey, Dallas.
We got Dallas. Say hello to the friends, Dallas. Hello.
I'm on, y'all. Am I on, y'all?
You
Yes,
are
you are.
on.
That's good. I had to tell you, I looked on. I recognized the old friend back in Texas home that used to meet up. Found her on TikTok. Wasn't sure, but found out she woke up.
Wow.
She, to my joy, she had woken up, and I thought, well, thank the good Lord God. I thought that Lord had mercy that she would wake up one day.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
Bless her heart right there.
Wow. Isn't that nice?
And I know y'all's in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where bound?
Right, almost in the center of the state, Dallas, Utica.
And I thought you were in the capital or something.
No.
Not us. No.
No, we went to Washington D.C. for the protests, but we don't live there.
I'm talking about the New York capital, y'all.
No, New York capital's Albany. No,
But there's other Albanese in the U.S.
Yeah,
Yes,
there are.
yes.
Albany, Georgia.
Albany, Georgia.
Yeah. No.
Which is a different city and is smaller, I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. No, so true. Yeah, no, we're colder.
We have to go, but we can keep
What
talking to
Dallas, we're going to have to cut the program off. You can hang on if you'd like. But
Yeah,
Ruby?
we'll talk to you, Dallas. Don't hang up.
Okay,
Ruby
yes.
and Annie. Go ahead.
Yep. I'm gonna, if anybody wants to join movie night, you can head over to Discord. I'm gonna go over there and I will wait for you like 3 minutes and I'm pressing play. So good to Discord. Meet me in the movie room and we're gonna watch Battleship 2012. See you there. Bye everybody.
Thank you, Ruby.
Ruby.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you,
Thank you
Annie.
all.
Thank you, San
Sandy,
Diego.
Sandy, everyone.
Thank you, Tony.
Love you all.
Thank you all for coming on. Thank you, Eric. And who else? Okay. Oh, thank you. Good night, Annie.
Night, all.
Good night.
We're here.
Y'all are here.
We're
Yeah,
still
don't-
here,
Yeah,
Dallas.
Yeah,
We're here.
don't hang up, Dallas.
It's not y'all. It's
In making friends.
Mhm.
I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in